of the Blink Dagger work out when it comes out, right?
The problem is it's a 40-second cooldown on Pulverize. I don't think they're ready for this one. The Dakota is going to be the one to be caught out next. The Pulverize won't even be needed, so at least they get a kill, and they will force the Templar Assassin back. So although I agree with you, the Blink Dagger debut not quite very good, but at least they get a lot of map control out of the Radiant side jungle with it.
It's not a big kill though. It's a Naga. He's already at the bottom of the network chart. He can't go any worse.
Well, difference can make him have some company potentially. That'll be pushed down a little bit further as well over here. And the double root is going to be responded on with Pulverize. This is a problem. This is just not worth it. Celery might not be on the bottom of the network chart, but he's not too far off of it. That is a mid for position 5.
And it's going to push out the Slaughter even... It's going to hurt him even more. I mean, he does have the Blink Dagger now, though, T-Time, and Yellow Submarine, they have those dual initiations. The problem is, it's been Mouse who have been keeping Yellow Submarine so busy that they haven't even had the chance to think about how they want to go in. So far, Bottega is able to farm up. I mean, he'll have a Desolator soon, and that is truly when Yellow Submarine are going to come online.
They don't want to wait for that, though. They've already smoked up again. It's going to be A Morales and Infernal who are on the hunt. Reclaiming this jungle is going to be critical for them. Infernal spots out Boom. It's a hard kill, probably the hardest one you can go for. 1700 HP. This is the tanky boy. Goes in, misses the call. Boom is lucky to be alive.
I would say that that was a difficult call to make, but it really wasn't. It's a primal beast. He's huge.
Okay. Infernal reinitiates top lane. It's on the Ember Spirit. He goes. The shield rune will be helping out Copy, though, and with that, it feels like there might even be a chance to get a response if there's any TPs coming in. But with the Slardar nearby, he's a little bit more concerned about receding rather than proceeding.
I mean, Yellow Submarine, their Blink Daggers aren't exactly really all that effective, right? It's I don't know if it's hesitance to fully commit, or
Has been used, but not a single right click deployed. Boom on the other side of it, stunned up as well, and Mouse are going to get a very successful turnaround.
Middle tower has fallen.
But just the
Yellow
fact that that
Submarine are ready.
Song of the Siren came out at that very last moment in which Difference was able to get away, use a magic wand, replenish his HP, and turn things around. And the Templar Assassin, that was the debut of the Desolator. So even though the debut of the Blink Daggers haven't been looking all that good for either side, he now has 3 Desolator stacks. And this is when you need to be careful, because those stacks can quickly amp up, and Bottega is gonna hit like a truck. And not the small truck, T-Time. It's one of those.
Like one of those really big 16-wheelers, right?
It's like a cyber truck.
So, okay, that actually doesn't hit that hard. I'm talking about 16-wheelers. You're talking about a gimmick. Come on, Touches. You can have more faith in Bottega than that.
But
Infernal is right next to the Ember Spirit here. They don't see each other yet, but now suddenly Infernal's realized, okay, like maybe I had a chance of a hit. Not to get the kill. Much harder to do that though.
What item is he getting though?
The BKB and Infernal. And the Ember Spirit's going for the Sanj and Kaya.
So you'll have your frontliners with the BKB, and you'll have the Templar Assassin with the damage. I can get behind that. Question is, what will Timado have, right? Because so far, the Nature's Prophet, he has all the map control in the world to farm in.
Boom, unfortunately, you can't say the same for him, although he still stays on top of the network shot from Mousesports. You might see that changing pretty soon with the way things are going. Boom's being targeted pretty heavily. He's the only player who can comfortably show himself on the map and force out these movements, though, so he'll have to continue fulfilling that role.
The problem is one of the win conditions for Yellow Submarine was being able to snowball. And I'm sorry to say it, they haven't actually hit that win condition. So I don't exactly know how their transition is going to be in the mid game. By all the predictive metrics, in my mind, this Nature's Prophet is going to be farmed up too, right? It's not just going to be a Templar Assassin that's able to free hit. it will be a Nature's Prophet who's going to be allowed to do that too,
But-
because you have the frontliners on Mouse, you have
But
the Primal
Tuxus,
Beast.
this is what you sort of said in the draft as well, right? He's going to get his farm no matter what, how much you can put him down. He'll get his farm. So it's really just a matter of everyone around the Templar Assassin and the Nature's Prophet. It's not about them in a 1 versus 1 in the head-to-head. It's about, hey, what is the difference going to be between the 3 cores of Yellow Submarine versus the 3 of Mouse?
It will have to come at the back of those frontliners, right? For Mouse, the Primal Beast on the front line, maybe even the Leshrac and the Marcy. And for Yellow Submarine, it will be the Axe and the Slordor. I'm just not sure who comes out on top in that scenario, because the Axe Berserker's Call, it becomes less and less reliable as time goes on, because you have those additional utility items being built on the supports, on the cores to actually counter that initiation. And the Slordor just naturally falls off.
Don't we all?
No, I fall up.
There you go. Put that on an Instagram post, guys. It'll do numbers. Mouse are looking to put their numbers together and find a response to the Torment to kill. They now know exactly where Yellow Submarine are, but they're about to find a little fishy fish girl, fish man, fish net. Not the good fish. Especially when there's plenty more in the sea.
There's plenty more than Mouse want to take.
Mouse are not going to have quite the reel to be able to pull them back in, though. Tormentor for a Naga. Yellow Submarine will take that.
The Axe wants to go in though, he will spot out the Leshrac. Jenter is in trouble, he has been abandoned by the rest of his team. And Infernal will grab that kill, very happy to take it.
Radiant are scanning.
I want to see how much damage this Melt Strike does to the Ember Spirit. Wow, Melt Strike, by the way, takes off like just a straight 300-400 health from the Ember Spirit right now. I think that was without the refraction.
At the same time though, is without the Solar Crest as well coming in, right? So
Or
it's not
the
a whole lot.
Slardar Corrosive Haze.
That is true. I think
There's a
if
lot
you
to
have the-
amplify damage.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, used to be the name of Slardar's ultimate before.
Actually?
Slardar had really dumb names for his ultimate back, like, a long time ago.
The worst
They've
name
actually
is...
changed them a lot.
We'll have to hold that thought as Celery is spotted out and he's
Well,
not
maybe
going
he's
anywhere.
managed to save the rest of his teammates, though. Infernal in the back lines are trying to go in onto Boom. Boom doesn't have his ultimate. He already used it without getting a kill successfully, but unfortunately, Tomato, who tried to be cheeky with his teleport, doesn't really have a way to navigate towards them. So Mouse do waste some time, but more than that, it is Bottega who's making very good use of his own time out on this top lane. He's now up to 14,000 net worth. And he's got an
And
item
he'll-
coming in. That's the full Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, he'll be able to create some amount of separation from himself as well, and from Leshrac and the Primal Beast, right? And the Hurricane Pike for Bottega does a lot more than the potential Hurricane Pike from the Nature's Prophet. Because a Templar Assassin, if he avoids the Pulverize and keeps his distance from the Leshrac, will be creating that divide from that insane amount of magical damage coming out.
Infernal's got the blink targets, but can he get the blink call? That's where he struggled before. And he won't
Single
even
target
make it
blink
camp.
call isn't good.
Right now, it's going to be the star that initiate. There should be a triple call if you can only just get close to them, but unfortunately, that won't be happening. Boom in the BKB will be able to negate the Song of the Siren. Infernal just could not go in over there. I'm not sure if his Blink Dagger was interrupted or anything like it, but right now, Bottega's on the complete wrong side of the map to be able to help out his team. Bottega was hoping that it'd be a procession back over towards the left side of the Dire Jungle. Instead, it goes back to middle lane.
This is not good tea time, because even though the Templar Assassin is doing very well, every single team fight that you can't come out on top of will be Tomato increasing his net worth by a multiplier that Yellow Submarine can't actually compete with.
I mean, he also doesn't have to interrupt his farming, right? He just TP's in, TP's out, there you go. You're not losing very much at all. That's always been the kind of critically annoying thing about the Nature's Prophet.
I wonder if the Templar Assassin, if Bottega will just go for a straight up Daedalus over the BKB.
There isn't that much to stun him, actually.
Yeah.
And there are, you know, there are some saves in terms of counter initiations, even if they're not like saving abilities the way the Marcy's Pick Me Up would be and whatnot. So you should be able to stay alive. Plus, not to mention, by the way, the Naga Siren with the shard actually gives you some pretty insane regen. 6% per second across 7 seconds potentially. That's a lot.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm not actually sure how Yellow Submarine transition. I've been scratching my head for the past 10 minutes,
Dire are
just
scanning.
trying to figure that out.
You've got an
Because
itchy
sure,
head for a
they
ball,
can-
man.
They can
Dire's bottom
win team
tower
fights,
is under
but they
attack.
don't transition as well as Mouse do.
Oh, blink in from the Slardar, and that's an easy kill, but unfortunately the easy kill also doesn't come with a lot of calories to add. It has to be a tier 2 transition, otherwise this just doesn't seem worth it.
Bottega does seem like he wants to be taking down that tower, and right now Mouse seem like they aren't interested in defending it. However, as I say that, the glyph does come out,
Is under attack.
and instantly Yellow Submarine go back.
They're being a little bit too respectful in many ways. The problem is that with the team fights that they've lost recently, they've also very often just not had the TA in position to be able to fight with them. I think they're better in a 5v5. For now, at least.
I mean, with the Slaughter, you don't really have much choice. You have to consider yourselves better for the 5v5, because after that 30-minute mark, Mouse will be ahead.
There still are going to be a lot of chances to take those 5v5s, and with an Aegis to boot. Dardar, Templar Assassin on the other side. Yeah, you know they're going to be able to pick up a few of these road chance.
And now with the Aegis, perhaps they can transition. At least take down some towers, maybe take a team fight. Mouse can avoid though. Have Timodo who can split push.
I think Janta might be dead over here. Blink Dagger backwards is going to give him some space, but the slow, long-range silence as well from the Templar Assassin is enough. Infernal comes over too. It's going to be a quick kill for Infernal. Copy in the meanwhile continues to split push out in the bottom lane. Do you
want
go
to
for
fight?
Aghanim's on this TA? But before that question, Infernal, will you stay alive? That's a much more important question, and I think the answer to that is absolutely not. Unstoppable streak goes the way of Copy, and suddenly Yellow Submarine no longer feeling very comfortable about a fight. But if they catch out the Ember, that's going to be a big difference. The problem is the damage there just isn't enough. The net, the reel back in. The Blade Mill will not matter. A blink forward from Bottega as he's trying to pursue past into Celery. Celery might survive, but with a quick slowdown as well from the TA trap, his death is guaranteed. It's a necessary trade. But can they transition into tower when their creeps are so far behind?
They can't, and that's the big problem. Sure, you get a kill on the Ember Spirit, that is really good. But you need some of these towers.
Oh my god, they're going back in. It's onto the Aegis of the Templar Assassin. They just want to make sure that she's uncomfortable going in for these pushes. They know they can't kill her.
The difference though, he's looking to wrap around, and the Templar Trap is going to reveal Mouse's position.
Can difference make it there? The blink daggers on both heroes would have made it difficult to even get the stun off, even if he had closed the gap.
That'll be the first tier 2 tower of the game being taken by Yellow Submarine, but it did come at the cost of 2 minutes of an Aegis time. The cost of the axe,
Dire's top
but
tower has fallen.
Those
on the
are all
road to that
pretty
tower, they were
reasonable
able.
costs.
Yeah, if they are. The big question, the big decisive factor will be how many of these tier 2 towers are you able to take. If you get the mid-side tower as well, totally worth it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There's an AD rune to
There's
help
also a
Bottega achieve
Daedalus
that.
with it, so
A tithe to the impurities.
I just want to see Daedalus crit with the AD on it.
You
Oh,
might just get to because they are heading towards the top lane.
they need the net to be able to kill Copy regardless. He's got 2200 HP. He's very tanky with the Kaya songs, but with the silence, how could I forget the silence? He's a goner. He's a dead man. He is in the ground. I'd say he's swimming with the fishes, but Naga seems to be looking pretty okay.
Yeah, doesn't want to swim with the Ember. But a 1200 crit without the meld. Right, it was at the back of the AD rune, but I mean, you're going to take those coincidental chances, right? You are going to go towards this tier 2 tower, and Mouse, I don't think you defend this, not without your Ember.
Can you go for more?
Radiant's bottom
Can you at least force out the glyph with the tier 3? It feels like that should be a guaranteed.
It's hard to actually go for the tier 3, but Bottega, I mean, he's just the way that he's posturing certainly seems like he wants to force out that glyph, like you mentioned.
They've got so many counter initiations, Ultras, as well as the fact that you don't have an immediate nuke down on the refraction, right? So you can actually back off with the blink dagger as the TA.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And Mouse aren't actually posturing to bring any of their heroes here. Bottega will be able to take down the tower, and perhaps you even go in, but no. Turns out it is a bit of a risk. The age is now down to about a minute, and the high ground will be safe from Yellow Submarine, right? They'll be able to take a tier 1 tower, but I don't think they mount up the pressure on a tier 2 unless they go for this Smoke of Deceit play. Maybe it's a fake back. Maybe they want the high ground.
It'll be very hard to go for this fight over here. You have to remember there's a Blink BKB refresher available for Boom, and he might be using it over here. Axe is going to be going down. BKB refresher back up. Get the Naga, get it away. Dakota lives through with the song as the second BKB hadn't been used, but it does enable Boom to blink backwards. Seri might be a dead man. He's been a dead man since the game started. He's okay with that. Somehow lives. Boom might not be able to say the same. Long range right click from Bottega as Hurricane Pike gives him the extra range. Difference will fall though, and he won't get anything in response. Mao's doing a good job of staying alive across a messy team fight. But now they pursue back. Blink from Kabira. Could finish off December Spirit. 18 seconds on that Aegis. That's what they're waiting for. Pulverize comes through, but it's immediately interrupted. And look at the damage from this Templar Assassin. He now has to stay alive up against 3. He's got no teammates. He's got no health. The Snapfire will not make it over in time. And with TA going down, that is a little bit of a disaster for Yellow Submarine.
Expensive initiation. They might even lose more. They might even lose their Snapfire as the 3 of them descend upon him, and that's a dieback. And I said it, T-Time, it's an expensive and it's such a difficult way to initiate on the high ground, and that was a surprise attack. That was countered out by Mouse.
Weren't ready for Boom's refresher. And to be honest, it didn't even do much.
Yeah.
It's just that second BKB actually helps force out the overextension for a while longer, but the second pulverize doesn't even last for half a second.
I think the real overextension came with Yellow Submarines. They decided to go head on over towards the bot lane from the mid lane position.
You could actually see a difference going down over here. If there's a Nature's Prophet teleport, this should be a dead star there. You only need another Searing Chains. Will he come through? Of course he will. Axe coming in from behind though. It's going to be a quick 2-man call if Infernal wants to go in, but he doesn't have faith in his teammate. And with the BKB on the courier not been delivered yet, he will not initiate.
The blink was on cooldown, but I mean, Mouse just recognized their advantage right now. They will be able to perhaps even take down a tier 2 tower because all of their heroes are in position. And Infernal, or rather Janter, has an Invis rune as well now. He'll just plant an Observer Ward, setting up for what will be an eventual move by Mouse.
Top tower is under attack.
And Bottega, he's not going for a butterfly or anything like that. He's actually going to go for a swift blink. So
maybe he's prioritizing his boots a little bit too much. I actually would really like to see him go for an Aghanim's.
I mean, he's maxed out, essentially.
The thing is, in this late game, you need someone to be able to fight back versus a split push of the Nature's Prophet, right? It's just not an option.
Speaking of the Nature's Prophet, Tomato will have a butterfly soon, so a lot of the damage output from the Slaughter and the Templar Assassin isn't going to be there.
Tomato's also going to be level 25 soon.
Impossible to actually split push against the Nature's Prophet once you have that removed teleportation cooldown.
Yeah.
And Copy has a Shivas. You didn't have that for the last team fight. So Yellow Submarine, you talked about how fast the Slaughter is. He's not going to be as quick anymore.
He's been pretty quick to die, though.
Bottom tower is under attack. Scanning.
Speed comes in many ways, Ultras. And
Though they
Mouse might
have,
be coming in from the Radiant jungle. Immorales isn't the target they want, but Boom will settle for him. Hey, why not? Stay down the Snapfire again. Transition to the tier 2 push. No kisses. Well, no
Bottega?
problems.
He's in a bit of an awkward spot here. He will go in the middle, revealing his position.
Well, he can back off. He's pretty comfortable.
Can he?
I think he can with Celery being pursued. It shouldn't really matter when you've got the Naga sign on the other side. Copy doesn't have a BKB, and he's the only one who can actually chase past him, so yeah.
Okay. He's playing with fire, though.
Everyone is when they're up against an Ember Spirit. Celery right now, though, is the one who might get burned. The Ghost Scepter buys some more time and space, but it's Infernal's call that catches Copy. Bottega finds Janter, and that second support will really be hard-pressed for any sort of a retreat. Boom goes back in. The Pulverize is ready. Nature's Prophet with that 3-second wait of the teleportation. It's going to be the second BKB and second Pulverize that they're hoping for a little bit more impact. But now Tomato's coming to an impossible team fight. There's nothing to do. He's been bashed up. Infernal. I mean, all across this game, he's been the difference maker. But now this counter initiation, this is what's going to give maybe even a chance for 2 lanes of racks. There's no Nature's Prophet buyback for 90 seconds.
That was such a lackluster and a horrible decision to go in for Mouse there. When they lost the Marcy, they should have backed away, but they made a decision to go back in on Bottega. The Refresher Pulverize coming out on that Templar Assassin did nothing.
They're going for the throne over here. Yellow Submarine smell blood in the water.
They want to force the buybacks. That's what they're
Even
really
if they
looking
do,
for.
there's no Nature's Prophet. And these are very low cooldowns on the Radiant side. There's a very big cooldown on that Refresher. This is going to be the end of times. With the way things are going. Mortimer's kisses forward. Celery is down and out. Tier 4s have been lost. There's no reason to stop. None whatsoever.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
They're still 5 versus 3. But they're so scared of the possibility of Nature's Prophet buying back. I don't agree with this at all.
I mean, they've gotten 2 buybacks, right? So this is a win despite of not actually committing towards those objectives. They were even able to take the mid lane of barracks, and they're going to set up for Roshan because they have the TA on their side, so they know exactly when Roshan comes up, and it is right now. And Mouse aren't in the position to actually contest Roshan because 1, it goes down too quickly, and 2, their mid lane's pushed in. So make no mistake about it, Yellow Submarines are the ones in control. Oh, they go for a 5-man smoke. Copy. He may find himself to be a bit too vulnerable. This Primal Beast isn't in position, isn't inside of the base. So this can go from a 0 to 100 very quickly if Copy isn't careful.
I mean, the problem is Boom also isn't going to be nearby for about 10 seconds or so. If you can get an initiation, there will be no counter, there will be no Pulverize, there will be no big bad Primal Beast. But this isn't going to be a classic initiation, it is just straightforward. Go in, get some damage out on the buildings, wait for a chance to fight.
They haven't set down the banner though, so they haven't made their intentions clear, and they're still choosing what the right strategy is going to be. Perhaps to try and find a pick-off outside of the base before you go in, or maybe even take a tier 2 tower down towards the bot lane.
I think they just want to guarantee the possibility of mega creeps, really, which seems strange when you've got the throne exposed, but they will be in a position to punish anyone moving out of the base at all.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And Butterfly, by the way, that you talked about for Nature's Prophet, still not here yet. Not
He
even
won't be able to
nearby.
get it.
Radiant
Yeah,
scanning.
not a chance. He has to save a buyback, which means that, what, about
Dire's bottom tower
4,000
is
more
under
gold that
attack.
he needs? That's not coming in the duration of his Aegis.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
The big question is, for Yellow Submarine, they can't overextend.
Oh no, Celery's gone. Is there a stun over here available? No, there's not. So the Ghost Scepter is going to be enough to keep him alive, otherwise that would have been problematic. Celery
Radiant's
did have
top tower
buyback,
is under attack.
but even just the idea of being 4 versus 5, despite however weak Celery might be, it is a critical difference.
That teleport animation from the Marcy reminds me of Dragon Ball Evolution.
Maybe
Doesn't
that's
take as
going to be
many
the
episodes.
Arcana.
That's
The Celery Arcana, yeah.
I would like to see some different Arcanas coming about.
Well, Inferno's going to be able to catch up to Mod over here, and guess what he doesn't have, Ultras? He doesn't have buyback. That green sword in his inventory, well, it's not looking very pretty right now.
And I think that Yellow Submarine saw the inventory pick up there, right? Because he went to the secret shop, so they know that he recently bought that item. So there's a possibility he doesn't have buyback, and it's gonna get worse! They're going to lose their Ember copy he bought back earlier, and they won't have 2 of their cores to defend their throne!
It's game over. It is absolutely game over.
Radiant's top
Even
tower
if they
is
think
under
Nature's
attack.
Prophet might have the buyback, they know Ember Spirit doesn't. There is no reason to stop. It is going to have to be a bulldozer down middle. And Bottega is the one in the driver's seat. Roshan's banner deployed. You asked about their intentions and clarity of it. It is now abundantly clear.
Is under attack.
The Nature's Prophet pick given up in game number 2. The Dawnbreaker pick given up in game number 1. This has been a series of expectations being subverted. And right now the expectations are clear. It is a throne on the ground. It is game 3 guaranteed. Yellow Submarine, fight back.
These lower brackets have really been, the theme for them has really been one mistake to lose it all, right? Yesterday, we saw Passion UA's Queen of Pain make one tiny error with a blink in, costing them the series. This time around, we saw how Mouse gave up this series, or rather gave up this game number 2. They haven't given up the series at the back of that Nature's Prophet pickup.
To be fair, this was a very good game from Yellow Submarine. They were consistently in the lead, and sure, difference might not have been feeling like the most impactful on the Slardar over there, but towards the later game where he transitions into a position 3, Axe was doing so well consistently. Bottega's been given so much space to farm. There were some places where maybe it could have gone better, sure, but Yellow Submarine were always in the lead. This was not Mouse's game to lose at all. It was their game to come back into maybe, but not to lose. So yeah, game number 3 coming in. Yellow Submarine looking incredibly good as we move forward. The question is, which version of them are we going to see, and which version of Mouseport is going to show up in the decider? Let's find out the answer after a break.
The blade of a soldier's death.
Dire's courier has been killed.
but what a performance coming through from Bottega and the gang over in Yellow Submarine as we continue on in the lower bracket of the playoffs of the CCT Season 2 Series number 4. I'm Tea Time with Teltris, and we're going to be looking to see who is going to be eliminated.
Honestly, before we headed into the series, I thought that Mouse would be the stronger team, but turns out Yellow Submarine are able to fight back. That game number 2 at the back of that Templar Assassin, that was quite the performance that we had. Just able to farm up, consistently able to acquire space, and just winning the offlane, keeping the Nature's Prophet down, just hitting their mark. Even though they didn't have their early game win condition, they were still able to transition really well.
Yeah, I have to say, just overall, a pretty coherent game plan as well coming out from Yellow Submarine, really taking a note out of what went wrong in the previous one and giving themselves a lot more fallback in the late game based on the early lead that they got. Game number 1 as well, let's not forget, they did actually get a very big early advantage in the first 12 to 15 minutes, but they never had the heroes to be able to make use of it, and they missed the timings that they had to snowball. So, now let's see what game number 3 looks like over here. It is going to be the Dawnbreaker and Undying band now from Yellow Submarine, and for Mouse they start things off with something straightforward. It's a Shadow Fiend and a Beastmaster.
Ideally, you have a puck ban, because Mouse will be very happy to pick that one up.
Yeah, Copy would love to play it over here. Especially if you can just ban something out like a Silencer or Disruptor. So, yeah, okay. So, we have the Nature's Prophet in the pool and the puck, so you have to choose between one or the other. Yellow Submarine are likely going to be able to counter this out with a puck of their own.
Hopefully, right? Hopefully they see that, because Mouse, if you don't pick the puck, then Mouse can pick the puck as well as a Nature's Prophet.
Mouse can't pick the puck, to be fair, right? Like the first pick coming out into the second phase is always the Yellow Submarine. So if they let the puck go, it's just going to be banned realistically.
Maybe we even see Difference play the Primal Beast. But no, Yellow Submarine will pick up the Monkey King. Another good hero in the current meta. Not sure.
I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah, it does feel underwhelming. Not because the Monkey King isn't strong, but because Mouse came out with such a strong pick to start off with the Nature's Prophet. 100% win rate in the lower brackets. It's
I mean, we just saw it lose, to be fair. It's like 5 minutes ago, Tolchus.
Oh, right. Oh, I've actually forgotten. Yeah.
Mouse were likely going to have to waste a ban on the puck at the very least. I don't know how much of a waste that is if you can't take it out. If you leave the puck in, however, the good thing is you force this Monkey King into being a position 1 or position 4. So if you want to try and pigeonhole this Monkey King into being one of those heroes that doesn't do that well late game versus the Nature's Prophet, you do have that option available to you. Or alternatively, Yellow Submarine just give you a puck for free and a Nature's Prophet, which would be kind of insane.
And Mouse right now have the option to pick up a lot of heroes that give you information over the Monkey King, right? The Night Stalker, if you want to play it on the offlane, if you want a support that does that, you can pick yourself up with Clockwork. So a plethora of heroes at your fingertips.
Why ban Warlock? What does Warlock specifically counter out?
I think it's just the Wukong's command into the Golem, right, which could be a very strong initiation tool.
With the Fatal Bond as well. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Fair enough. Just the Wombo combo potential, I suppose. That's
exactly
fair. I'm very curious about what Yellow Submarine try and go for over here, right? And it does feel like they have a litany of options, but also maybe a few too many of them.
It does seem like the few too many options is there for both of these sides, and you really have to wonder what the strategy is going to be. I would like to see a Storm pick up for Yellow Submarine if they're not going to go for a puck, and if they're going to let Mouse have that hero. Storm plus the Monkey King, a lot of initiation potential. Once again, they ban out the Medusa, and let's see if this is going to be a puck coming out, or if whether both of these teams will skip out of the puck. Who knows?
Nature's Prophet and puck together are also incredibly strong as well, so Mouse would be very happy if they are allowed to have that one. At this point, Storm or Puck, I mean, honestly, we might just see Storm and Puck from either side, the way this is going. Both of these teams would benefit a lot from that instant initiation. Storm very good versus the Monkey King as well in a lot of ways, but you go for the Bogna instead.
I'm not
Can I
liking
just say
the drop so
underwhelmed
far.
again?
Yeah, I'm not liking this drop from Yellow Submarine this time around. Mouse right now, Night Stalker, even you can go for the Silencer as well to counter out that The kinetic fuel will hold the axe from coming in, and at the very least, Timado will be playing a lot safer compared to last game around because he doesn't want to get off to that bad start again. Okay, this is because of the
Morta's not going to be banned.
it's not bad.
Like, it wouldn't be banned, right?
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with teams that generally don't pick heroes that will not be banned later on. And also, you know, when you have heroes that probably aren't going to be countered, I really want an interesting mid hero now in the end. Because at this point, I mean, Mouse can just go for a spirit pick into a buck +1 ban, and then you've already eliminated most of the mids in the game. And unless they're expecting this to be a middle Monkey King, of course, that's always a possibility. But that also depends on whatever Mouse goes for themselves for the mid lane.
Could just be the Storm, could be the Puck. Storm is a bit worse than the Puck in this scenario because you do have an axe on the other side, not to mention
you also have
Pugna
the
on the
ghost-
other side.
Also the whatever the ultimate from Muerta is called, where she goes ethereal.
I remembered it as soon as you said whatever it was called, right? I'm trying to remember.
I'm gonna cheat and just check.
I am forgetting what it was
It's
called.
Pierce the Veil.
I swear Pierce the Will was on my mind, but I really thought Pierce the Will was the name of another ability.
I just want to know the name of whatever mouse sports is going to be going for over here, though they are running out of time, and I think they might be struggling a bit with what they want. Now, let's maybe have a conversation about position 4. Okay, so they do go for their Templar Assassins, and they'll have the TA plus the Nature's Prophet. This is a very greedy lineup. This is like a insanely greedy lineup, actually.
That the itemization doesn't really change on a Templar Assassin, irrespective of whether you are a carry or a mid lane. The priority for the itemization
This is a position
though.
for Nature's Prophet, though. I think they have to move this Nature's Prophet to position 4. I don't think you have a choice to play both NP and TA in 1 and 2. It just, you're asking for too much. You don't have a stunning support in the Disruptor. You don't have, you know, your Primal Beast sure is going to be fairly active around the map earlier on as well, but that's not enough space. You can't have a non-stun support plus a Primal Beast being your primary kill threats. This has to be another mid lane. I'm sure of it. And so is Yellow Submarine. The Puck ban coming out from them now as well. Maybe that's just a just-in-case situation, but yeah.
I mean, if you do want to go for a mid laner, the Storm would be really good here. I mean, the problem is Yellow Submarine, their second pick, now that I'm thinking about it, isn't as underwhelming because that Nether Ward actually counters out a lot of mid lane heroes out there, right? The Storm, the Ember, the Void, the Puck.
But does it counter the Slarther mid?
The Axe counters the Slaughter mid.
Some people say the Slarther mid counters the Slarther mid.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Yellow Submarine sure are taking their sweet time with this last ban. I mean,
I
this
wouldn't
is...
hate a Void Spirit ban, actually, rather than a Storm. I don't think Storm is as much of a concern as Void can be. Void has a lot more tank ability as well. I think the Disablers are slightly more reliable going up against a hero like the Monkey King as well. But it will be the Storm taken out.
Yeah. And for Mouse, I mean, if they have an open pick for their mid hero, they could go for the Pangolier. In fact, the Pangolier is actually pretty good for both of these mid lanes, for Yellow Submarine as well as for Mouse. But Mouse
I
is
think
actually
Mouse,
expecting...
a Pango for Mouse would actually make a lot of sense over here because they do just need a pretty big space creator more than anything else at this point. But you are really missing out on disables.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a trade-off, right? There's not really a whole lot of mid heroes that can bring in the disables. If you take a look at all of the spirits, they only have one disabling ability. The thing that what the Pango offers over
Dragon
the other
Knight?
heroes. Mm, I don't think it'll be a good Dragon Knight pick. It's going to be a
this is
mid
just
primal beast.
ultimate greed.
It's not that greedy.
Wait, it's a mid primal beast?
I think so. It should be a mid primal beast, or it could actually be a
could
mid
just
primal
be
beast, a
one
carry
Nessus
Templar,
Prophet.
an offlane Phoenix could be well, or if you want to switch it up, a mid Templar Assassin, a position 1 Nature's Prophet, and an offlane primal beast. That would be greedy.
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
We will
I think
see.
one of the other interesting things that you could also just do is put the Nature's Prophet on middle and have the TAV safe lane as well. If you want to go for the double core between those two, that's certainly a possibility. But it is going to be a Monkey King middle. So they have some options in how they want to go about this. Now that they've seen difference pick up that Monkey King, who do you put mid? Now, Jantar is... So, okay, so it's a position 4 disruptor. That's guaranteed. I really think this is going to be just a Nature's Prophet mid.
It's a copy mid. It's a Phoenix on the mid lane.
Celery on the Nature's Prophet it is, I suppose.
I mean, the Phoenix sure does do well against the Monkey King, but the problem is Bottega has actually picked up the Mortar, right? So this is going to be a carry Mortar, and when you actually take a look at what the Mortar is to face up against, it's a Templar Assassin, and the Templar Assassin can't do anything against Pierce the Whale, right? So this Mortar can just activate the ultimate and just take out the Phoenix Egg without actually receiving any kind of damage to herself. So it's going to come at the back of those disables, which, as you pointed out, there aren't too many of them to actually hold this Mortar down. So I worry for Mouse right now. If they're able to disable the Mortar and take her down before she's able to activate the ultimate, that's going to be well and good. If they're unable to do that, though, we have seen just how strong of a glass cannon the carry Mortar can be.
I have no idea who's actually favored in this as far as the draft is concerned. I think the only reason why I'm slightly leaning more on this side of Yellow Submarine is I think Axe is going to be such a difference maker just in terms of being the only... He's the only AoE disable in this entire game. There aren't that many like heroes that'll be clumping together though.
Yeah. It will have to be solo calls on this Templar Assassin, right? The highest value target in the game. At the same time, though, you have a pretty good counter. You have the Glimpse back. So, Axe, even if he gets the call off, there's no guarantee that he'll be able to maintain that disable against the Glimpse there. So it does seem like Mouse are onto something. But again, all roads lead back to that Mortar. Whether or not they'll be able to disable Bottega. Because there's a lot of save here. You have a double netherize ability, if that's even a word, right? To Pugna Decrepify, coupled up with Pierce the Will, they both do the same thing, which means that this Templar Assassin isn't going to be able to actually dish out the hits.
What is the Phoenix build going to be?
A mid Phoenix, I mean, just the Shivas. The wrestle into the Shivas, probably.
Okay. Does the mid Phoenix without the egg just provide enough magic damage potentially to keep Mort on her toes? It is a lot of magic damage.
You do, but if you don't pop the egg, if you delay popping the egg, you're just going to get hit by the Berserker's Call. And Phoenix, I can tell you, does not have the sustain to actually survive.
30 seconds to battle.
So it's a lot of difficult decisions. It's a lot of difficult questions that Mouse will be forced to answer.
Maybe a Heart of Tarask on the Phoenix?
It does come out, but until after you have the Shivas. The Shivas is the absolute core requirement of a Phoenix.
Of course.
Not too sure if... Oh, man. Perhaps the Celery takes an increased resource capacity in this team, right? Perhaps he plays more of a position 3.5.
I think we might just see Celery playing a position 6 role, to be frank. With the amount of farm that needs to be taken up across the map right now.
I will
No,
say
it would
that
be wild to see, which probably won't happen, but it would be wild to see.
I will say that the Axe this time around isn't going to be having the same kind of game he had last time around, because you have a Pugna. There's no real setup. There's no real aggressive potential coming out from the Pugna there. So the Axe will probably just farm away safely.
Could we see a Radiance from Copy?
Oh yeah, that is actually a good item you can make, and we have seen
The
with
Radiance plus the
Phoenix
Dying
go
Light
for it.
together is just so strong.
Yeah.
Well,
Dire's
as far as skill potential is concerned, it does feel like this bottom lane is the one where you are most likely to get early activity.
I mean, Bottega is on a very weak hero. So if the Primal Beast is able to get the onslaught in, perhaps they even are able to take down the Mortar. At the same time, though, you'll have Zakoda dish out the level 2 ignite once, or the level 2 ignite as soon as he hits the level 2 mark. So Janter is going to be in trouble too, because the dead shot has a very high range, because you can bounce it off towards the trees.
Even without it, it's got 1,000 range anyway. Pretty good for a targeted nuke potentially. But yeah. Copy, no surprises. He's doing pretty well for himself, but he can't really stop Difference from getting farm up. His last hits are fine. Top lane, Tomato has to be a little bit careful, but not too much so. Celery's been kept honest, and those right clicks from the Pugna, they hurt, man.
They hurt on the Nature's Prophet, not so much on the Templar.
True.
But Celery is actually going to face the brunt of those battle hungers, and it's just going to be forced back. But he has a teleportation, so he can just go back to the fountain and come back into the lane.
It's a lot more expensive for a support than it is for a core.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have the gold, so he's actually going to backstab a Morales here.
Radiant's courier
Well,
has been killed.
just a little bit extra damage coming through. Good to see, but at the end of the day, the Pugna's always going to be coming out on top of that trade.
And keeping the lane divided is very important for Mouse, because as soon as you let up, those nether blasts are then going to be hitting your tower. So you may have a scenario where Yellow Submarine are able to get a lot of early game objectives, and you can't have that because you are playing a Phoenix on the mid lane. You need a lot of space to make that work.
Axe is also one of the best heroes in the game for being able to get down to tier 1 safe lane tower, because you get so much more farming space. But bottom lane, Boom is in some trouble. The Lotuses will go the way of Zakoda, though the glimpse back onto Bottega will at the very least guarantee that he can stay relatively comfortable. Remember, he hasn't picked up the onslaught just yet, so there was legitimate kill potential, if not for that. And that legitimate kill potential might be showcased over here. Zakoda is going to fall. Bottega with first blood. Second might be around the corner. Boom. Still not without that level 3. He's trying to get the damage back with the trample, but it will not be sufficient. Celery makes his way over. He's going to be able to pick up some kills. It's the blood grenade to guarantee it. So at the very least, Bottega will not be going unpunished, but he does get a lot done. And Tomato, in the meanwhile, on that top lane, is going to have some space taken away.
That was a good win coming out for Yellow Submarine, creating that early game start. I mean, the Mortar picking up the kill is just super good for him. Mouse, though, did not really understand the intent of Yellow Submarine, as they were very casually walking into the tier 1. So I don't think they actually expected them to go for the initiation at the back of that Ogre Magi. But in the game of intentions, the one who is able to hide it comes out ahead.
Oh, there you go. That Sanzu?
No, that's just my life, D-Time.
There you go.
That's just
Ooh.
painful lessons.
Well, one of the painful lessons for Tomato over here is also going to be the fact that it is much harder to lane without Celery. Mid lane, Copy, getting in nice and close, and with that stun on the Difference, this could be a real kill. The damage will continue forward. He misses the bird, and now Copy is the one in trouble. Blood grenade backwards, but don't ever forget the Dying Light gives a crazy amount of DPS, and with a heal from Celery coming through, Copy will have the guaranteed kill. Celery will stay alive, and in the meanwhile, in the bot lane, there's more action happening. Janter to take a knee.
Nice cut of the tree there by the Phoenix, but unable to secure the kill. In the end, though, it was the death of the Pugna, who did come in to try and protect the Monkey King. I don't know actually who that favors. The Phoenix, sure, but it's not by much, as the real prize was the Monkey King.
I think the problem is that Tomato's just not getting the chance to have help over here, and with the bottom lane where Boom is just going to have a tough time. Yeah.
And towards the mid lane, you were able to take Difference down anyway.
I mean, Celery will stay alive, barely just.
Seeds of fortune.
Mouse will have to go back, but it's this Primal Beast who's continually suffering. And if you have an early Maelstrom on Bottega, his farming speed will accelerate, so does his damage output. The Maelstrom is perhaps the best item on the Mortar, and perhaps one of the best combinations for a hero like the Mortar, because you have that chance for that extra hit to come out.
Bottega. This time will not be able to find another follow-up kill. Top lane Tomato still struggling. is on 20 last hits in comparison to Bottega's 37. Bottega also having a lot of kill participation. 5 now in total with the added kill on Janta.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a very early maelstrom, and even towards the top side, the Monkey King goes in.
And with that, Tomato should be saying goodbye. Celery can't really do anything to help him out of here at all. Celery's been not the most help in general because of the amount of times he's had to rotate away. This entire game for Mouse is going to be hinging around the neck of the Phoenix. Copy is the only person who's actually getting anything done over here.
Not that great of an insurance policy, if you ask me. I mean, Yellow Submarine, their carry is doing so well. The Axe Infernal was able to get a kill on towards Tomato, so your Templar Assassin isn't going to be having the great game that Yellow Submarine's Templar Assassin had in game number 2. At the same time, the Monkey King has had to rotate because the mid lane, he was constantly being pressured. But still, he's been doing fine, right? It's all of the pressure that they were trying to apply now on the Monkey King, but it didn't really come out to anything. He's still doing fine for himself.
Good work.
I thought that was you.
你是认真的吗？
I will always be caught off guard by some of the more
Radiant are scanning.
child-sounding voice lines. But now in the mid lane, Difference is trying to fight back. The Wukong Drink comes through. He knows his priority is taking down the support. He doesn't want to let this Phoenix be all too low. The Dying Light damage would be too much to deal with. But Monkey, for now, will just back off. Is the egg forced out and only a kill on the Dakota? And that, too, might not be guaranteed to be bloodless. Celery healing himself up with the help of the Sprout will stay alive, and yeah, Pugna will barely live.
And overall, just a kill on the Ogre Magi, and I believe a kill on the Disruptor, a 1-for-1. Not all that bad for Yellow Submarine. Yeah. The egg was committed, so was the Wukong's command in all fairness, but the egg is the more important aspect because that's one big ultimate that Mouse really need.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Can't fight without it.
Radiant's
And I appreciate the Ogre Magi trying to land a hit on the egg. He cancelled it halfway. He was like, nah, nah, there's no way.
Tower is under attack.
This mid-lane tier 1 is going to start to fall very soon, and Copy's at least done a good job of making sure that he's going to have some map control freed up for the rest of his teammates. Good difference. Has to be careful, those trees are always going to be threatened. Copy is just going to be content with finishing off this tower. Backline, so that's where Celery's gone in. They've got the birds as well. This is a lot of damage, and Difference should not be surviving. And I have to say, this Dying Light is doing much more damage than I really gave it credit for.
And when he has that vessel time, he is going to be doing a whole lot more. And Yellow Submarine, their Monkey King is burning. Hasn't actually had any kind of an impact this game. 2,600 in terms of net worth. He's even behind the Primal Beast, who, for the most part, just kept dying.
Especially half the net worth of the Phoenix. Phoenix right now, they're going up towards the top lane. Copy is going to have to play with fire consistently. He wants to be low on HP so he can continue dealing that damage. And while Pugna is ethereal, he is getting destroyed. Tomato getting the right click. A sorely needed kill for this Templar Assassin.
And now the egg is back up. You can continue dishing out the aggression like they are on Zagoda. There are 3 heroes on top of him. And Yellow Submarine, for the first time, their off lane is going to get punished hard.
Illusion.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The good thing for Yellow Submarine though, they're able to apply a lot of damage towards this tier 1 tower every single time that Phoenix isn't present in the lane. And it's almost fallen here. The rest of Yellow Submarine's towers are all pretty healthy apart from the mid lane. The
Infernal in the top lane is just going to be forced back by the egg and taken down by a TP from Celery. Celery is going to be picking up the killing spree, and dude, the damage is unbelievable. Now, my only question is, the damage from the Dying Light, does that match? Like, does that stay consistent while the Supernova goes on?
Tower is under attack.
I think so.
Okay.
Depends on the amount of HP missing when you activate the egg, I believe.
All right.
Is under attack.
But still, the Dying
Morales. I mean, he's
TP?
just dead. The TP shouldn't matter. This Janto, the Glimpse, I'm surprised that they don't commit slightly harder, but maybe worried about the lack of the one kicking on the map, and they'd be right. He is trying to be a tree. He is treeing to get involved.
His treeing is making him suffer, though. I mean, he is so underfarmed.
3600, man. Not a good sign.
He's above the Primal Beast, though, but that is a hero that, you know, has died twice, hasn't been able to come into the lane because he just gets zoned out every single time he tries.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You do have a smoke play, but you have a celery play too.
Yeah, while they try and come in from the back lines, from the outposts, or rather from the twin gate, there's certainly that possibility of getting a kill on the Kapira. The stun will come out. Can they keep him alive? Celery's got himself another sprout, so Kapira's going to be able to continue to heal himself up, and as he backs off using the Sun Ray, he'll even be getting a kill on his way out. The Dying Light guaranteeing it. Infernal's been slowed up, and the Blade Mill is only going to do so much. Janko just deploys the Static Storm. He knows he's got more HP, so Blade Mill or not, he's going to be coming out on top.
The Monkey King, though.
He'll try, but at the same time, the vessel's been used to heal up the Phoenix to whatever extent possible. The eggs come out once again. Difference is not going to be able to take this egg down in time, and as he tries to back out of there, he will be on the edge of the Wukong's ring. Now, Difference is trying to juke, but trying being the critical word. He's fighting back. Another kill on the Celery would be nice, but he's too slow. The birds, a little bit too much.
Mal's constantly playing on the edge there, but coming out ahead. Initially, the Phoenix copy recognized the limits of the axe because the kinetic field kept the axe from using the culling blade on copy. And then later on, it was the dive that actually saved his life there. But still, able to play around the edge of the Monkey King too. It's all very impressive coming out from Mouse, but they will need to continue with their momentum because Bottega on that safe lane is having the time of his life. Already a Maelstrom available, and T-time he will be able to create that Hyperstone and consequently complete that Mjolnir by that 16-minute mark.
50.
And for comparison, a 15 to 16 minute Maelstrom is considered a good timing for a mid lane Maelstrom.
Copy. He knows that he has to keep the pressure up across the map. He might be highest in net worth, but right now he has to make sure that the Templar Assassin has a chance to catch up with this pesky Muerta. And, well, this is a lot of pressure being created. Difference can't back off either. The glimpse is going to be there if he tries to do anything. And honestly, man, Copy is just doing a crazy amount of damage. Boots to travel now up as well. He's going to be flying across the map, not just with his wings, but with his booties as well.
Surprised he actually went with Boots of Travel. I think it's because he's having such a great time.
I really thought he'd go for the Radiance because of that fact, actually. Just, you know, extra 2,000 gold, might as well build into it. The evasion's also quite nice.
But right now, he can actually go for an early Shivas as well. Both of them are actually pretty good here.
Well, Copy just spamming out the egg, that's what it feels like. 7 kills, 6 assists. He has been involved in every kill bar 1. The Mouse.
I wonder what the one kill he wasn't in,
Bot
where
lane.
that happened.
Death of one of the heroes died on bot. I think it was Ogre.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But
Are scanned.
Yellow Submarine haven't actually brought in the full 5, right? It's so far it's just been pickoffs across a scattered force. Now they're going to go as a 3-man though.
Has been denied.
Teller is going to be caught. It's a big kill. Even in just a position 5, he is level 9. He's very strong. I like the fact that they don't use the Culling Blade. They let Difference pick up the kill. Difference really needs that comeback goal that he does get from taking some of those streaks out.
It's a dominating streak, so it's not only the level 9, it's also a big amount of gold going the way of the Monkey King, who was struggling, like you mentioned. Unfortunately,
Maybe a tier
though,
1?
he needs to continue the momentum.
Is under attack.
Oh, the
If they
tier
know
1
there's
tower
no
was
egg-
always going to fall when there's Bugna nearby, but yeah,
Dire's
taking
bottom
advantage of the time when the egg is going to be critical. We initiate. Culling Blade is used this time, but not to the greatest of effect. Difference still gets the kill, and he's happy with that.
And Bottega, I believe he has his Mjolnir, right? He even has a component of the BKB, and this is going to come
Bottega
back
had his
to...
Mjolnir at 14.
This is going to come back to haunt Mouse. You have a Desolator and a Dragonlance up, so perhaps Mouse
Mid
fight
lane, we're
back.
going to take that conversation elsewhere. We're looking for this fight. The X down for 15 more seconds, but Yellow Submarine don't have the numbers to be able to do anything about it. No way to stop this teleport either, and the last Meld Strike hit is insufficient. In the meanwhile, Zakoda brought back into the confines of Copy. Copy will not get the kill, but again, Tomato wasn't doing too hot either. Both Tomato and the Monkey King are on their redemption arcs.
Again, you need to be careful, right? Not to give too many kills away to the Templar Assassin. Bottega is doing well, and you need to make sure that he continues to do well at the back of not feeding away too many of these kills. Yellow Submarine, they're actually quite strong when they group up together, and they need to continue with that pace if they want to fight against Mouse. And they don't want to fight, fair enough, but then play safe.
Boom barely gets away there. If that blink got cancelled, Boom was dead.
I wonder what they will do with the Blink Dagger though. But Copy, turns out he's not going to be going for the Radiance or the Shivas. He is going to be going for a Scythe of Whites, the good old Gwinsu, to support him.
We don't talk about the G-Man anymore. He betrayed us.
Why?
Do you not know?
No?
Ginsu went to work on League of Legends. That's why his name was removed.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah. He never came to the Dota team. I don't know if the invitation was extended, but yeah. Ginsu was the original Ice Frog. In case people don't know, Ginsu's Scythe of Vice was the original name of that. I think Ginsu used to develop Dota back up to like 5.85 or so, before Ice Frog subsequently inherited it from him. Smoke up for Mouse Sports. They really want that Blink Dagger to be put to use.
There's no one nearby though, outside of the Bugna.
It's just a poor read. Unfortunately, Infernal would have been the prime candidate for that gank, but he's navigated away.
It's not the worst thing because you can transition this into a tier 1 tower if you really want to. But you will have to support your Templar. You can't walk away from this smoke when your Templar is there in that position. And I think Yellow Submarine, they are also going to bring their heroes in because they want a fight. And I wonder if they're going to bring Bottega in, or if Bottega might just end up being the target of this smoke play.
Bottega has the BKB. You can't kill him. Will there be a chance to turn it around is the question. Pulverize comes out, the silence on the Tomato as well, and the Ethereal will end very soon. Bottega might have the BKB, but more importantly, he's got a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of healing as well. Pugna will keep him nice and healthy. Tomato is going to be the one taken down over here as well, but he does at least try to fight back. Where is the egg? That is the only question. It's too far off. He's worried. Copy doesn't want to be giving up his spree. Instead, he'll be giving up his steam.
Here's the will, can't fight against it, not without your Phoenix. We saw the perfect use of it there. You had the perfect initiation, a full duration Pulverize, but he was able to activate his ultimate before you grabbed the Morta up. And he didn't even feel the need to use his BKB time.
Yeah, 9 seconds even now.
I hope they realize the missing gap there. That was the Phoenix. And Copy, as good of a game he is having.
Even if Phoenix is there, Phoenix just dies. There's the
Phoenix,
BKB used by Morta, and then, Bottega's fine.
That is true, yeah. So maybe it's a good thing that Phoenix wasn't there.
The gap right now is damage, unfortunately, and
I think that's why
Tomato.
Copy is going for a Hex. To disable the Morta from being able to activate the BKB and take down the egg. I think they want to take down the Morta before she is able to do anything. But that's a very small window, right? You have the Decrepify and the Life Drain still, as well as a counter initiation. And Yellow Submarine, this time around, they want to be the ones to initiate on an unsuspecting mouse.
who's going to be leading the charge for that initiation. They don't have anyone natural to start things off outside of the Axe. He's not in the smoke. Now he is, so You will be able to accompany what is likely to be a blink call forward.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Mouse are very grouped up. This should be a big fight. Infernal wants to go in onto Tomato, but this is a bait from Mouse. They've been good about this in the last game as well, but this time it's too much. Tomato's gone before the fight can even start. It's a 1-for-1. It's not over, not quite yet. If Bottega can get a few more right clicks onto Boom, that'd be big. The dead shot misses, unfortunately, and that means Boom can't stay alive. You can't say the same about the rest of the team. The egg has now been used. Is it going to be focused? Bottega's not looking at it. The attack speed on this man is insanity. Triple kill, make it an ultra, and it could have been the full rampage if we're being realistic.
He just set up so nicely for Bottega there. And I'm talking about Mouse, by the way. They went in on the Morta without any kind of a game plan as to what they're going to do when he activates the BKB as well as appears the whale. It really turned out that it didn't matter. I mean, they chose to go in despite not having Tomato. Your only source of physical damage. An unacceptable set of errors there from Mouse, as that is really going to hurt them. I mean, Bottega, if you thought he was doing well before, take a look at his net worth. 6,000 ahead of the Templar Assassin, and now will also be in possession of the Aegis.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you stop this.
They should have just waited for the Hex. He had 2 components of it. But even then, it may not have been enough. Because you lost Tomato from the get-go.
Was it the... Okay, so I think what you basically need is to go back to patch 7.37 and buy the Revenant's Brooch from back then, when you could still go through the veil just by using it. That's the move, Precious.
Nature's Prophet does have the Orchid though. If you are able to couple up the Hex with the Orchid at the same exact time, then maybe the burst damage from the Orchid is going to take the Morta out. But, I mean, it really seems very difficult.
What you need realistically is the Hex and the Static Storm before the Murta's use her ultimate, and then to be able to focus her down. It's a very, very hard ask, though.
Might be an impossible ask, if you ask me.
Structures are fortified.
Phoenix's next pickup is going to be the Agnum Shard copy, who was really leading the charge. Feels like he's suddenly a little bit underwhelming. He is 7-1-7, and he's had his impact, a lot of it, but how do you save your team in a situation like this? Nice stun coming out from Difference, making sure that Boom can't back off. Infernal should be able to pick up the skill, but with the slow from the TA traps, he won't be able to close the distance and get a call out.
I mean, they're fine with that. They forced the BKB out, right? And at the back of it, with the Aegis in hand as well, when you know there's no BKB on the other side, you can just make your move on some of these tier 2 towers. This is going to be the second one of the game for Yellow Submarine. They are on a 5,000 net worth advantage, and they are slowly boxing Mouse into a very dangerous corner.
Yeah.
Has fallen.
And I don't know if you can get yourself out of this corner. Last few minutes, it feels like Mouse has been getting basically no kills. All of this big lead that they got early on has been lost. 6,000 net worth ahead, and all of that is in Muerta's pockets. Muerta, who is, by the way, about 1,000 gold off of her Daedalus as well. 20,000.
Mouse are about to get pincered here.
I mean, Emeraldus should end up going down first at the very least. I don't know how much of a pincer this is going to be. Emeraldus is surprisingly tanky, where the S-string stays alive long enough that Infernal can get the response. It's not really... And it's not really something that either team cares about. 1-for-1, Mouse probably happy with the fact they don't lose more.
I wonder if this will be a transition to a tier 2 tower. I mean, Yellow Submarine have been pretty slow about that. Ooh, no, they find Boom. The Monkey King is there too.
Monkey King's gonna be slow about this one. Boom. He's gonna be able to blink backwards as well. Remember, he needs to use the onslaught to make sure he can stay away from this Axe. Axe is the only one who can interrupt his BKB TP, and the BKB isn't even used. So, Boom going down, and this should be where the transition happens. But they're trying to make a go onto Bottega. They really
He has a
want him.
Daedalus.
I mean, you can't fight him. You literally can't fight him even 3 versus 1, let alone with 2. Aegis still has a minute left on it. You really want to see a tier 2 taken down while they have it.
He hasn't even gotten the shard to amplify, or not to amplify his damage, but to actually gain a lot of lifesteal. It is
It also gives
deceptively
you
strong.
permanent spell amplification, so. With every kill.
I wonder, okay, it is retroactive. So he has 11 kills, so he'll gain about 22% spell amplification.
He has 11 kills and 4 assists. Not for every time she gets a kill, it's also for vicinity. This is 30% spell amp that Bottega is going to get. Templar Assassin's not even close to a BKB Cloutress. She does not live after her refraction finishes off.
I'm not even sure if he lives outside with that BKB, because there's no way to actually break through the whale. There's no way for them to, so to say, pierce the whale
Radiant's bottom tower
of
is under attack.
pierce the whale.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
An interesting day at CCT today, tea time, because 2 teams have already been eliminated, and Mao's are on the cusp of being a 3rd team to exit out.
In goes Boom. At least A. Morales has been taken away. They are buying time, they are buying space in whatever currency they can. Right now it is the death of supports.
At least the initial physical burst damage is there from Mao, so they can take this Mortar down. They can take Bottega down if they are able to initiate on top of him. But it has to come at the back of perfect synchrony from this entire team, and so far, it's been patchy at best.
I mean, you need a Hex and the Pulverize coming through in quick succession, basically. With ideally a Silence on top. Ideally.
Do you think it's weird that Primal Beast has to grab up a creep by both of his hands to pulverize him?
It's called having respect, and right now he doesn't want to have any respect off of this axe. Infernal BKB turns around, copy, is suddenly made useless.
They are going to disengage. Perhaps Infernal shouldn't use his BKB. Let Mouse invest further into getting him down, allowing Bottega to come in. They'll have a Lincoln Sphere up soon, and once you have that Lincoln's, you won't have that instant pop of the Hex. He will be able to get his BKB off. I wonder though if the Scepter from Janter is going to make the difference though, because if you're able to mute the items too, if you're able to stop Bottega from using his BKB, perhaps that is the key to unlocking this game for Mouse.
Look, I'm with you, but Janter also has basically no chance of farming up the Scepter with the way things are going. Axe is forced back with a glimpse, but guess what? Monkey King is nearby, and Bottega is even going to go ahead and pick up another kill. And he does have the shard now.
Demands more.
20% spell amp on Bottega currently.
And the spell lifesteal. Right, the Pierce of Will turns her attacks into magical damage as well, so you gain spell lifesteal at the back of it. It's like a built-in with Admir's.
Now, right now, it's a built-in death for Boom. Boom is going to be taken apart, and it feels like it is a foregone conclusion as to the fate of whatever Mouse player dares try and fight in the vicinity of this green ghost.
really feels like Bottega, this Mortha, has the plot armor of Captain Jack Sparrow, right? It just seems unkillable.
And a lot more powerful. I genuinely don't think there's a way for Mouse to win this without the Aghanims on the Disruptor. Like right now, Disruptor needs to basically be a position 1 in terms of farm priority.
Maybe Celery can make another Hex. Maybe you can bring in the chain Hexes, but you know, Tomato is making another fire, so you will have a response to that whale soon-ish, I suppose.
Nullifier remove the Pierce with the Veil?
It does, but then you can always activate the BKB,
No, it
right? So
doesn't.
it's not
Pierce the
actually.
Veil can't be removed. The only thing the Nullifier does is to... I'm like 99% sure. The only thing the Nullifier does is to decrepify. You can't remove Pierce the Veil.
I could do this all day.
I'm not actually sure. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the
like-
first time that I'm wrong, so...
It does say it's not dispellable in the tooltip. Yeah. Well, either way, Bottega is just going around and picking up whatever map control he can, or realistically whatever map control he can reach, because there's no one who really does dare to contest him. Up next should be the Swift Lane to come through for this Muerta. And after that, your high ground is just gone.
It's a Roshan, though. Meanwhile, it turns out even the internet is a bit divided about whether the Nullifier actually counters it out, because half the sources say it does, and half of them say it doesn't. So let's see if whether or not this game will actually answer that question for us. But one thing
Next
is for
5
sure.
minutes are going to be absolute hell for Mouse.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Being able to counter the ultimate from the Morta is, at the very least, going to happen at the back of a perfect initiation from Mouse, right? It has to be everyone coming together, and I'm not sure if they'll be given that space, because you have to get through the Axe, you have to get through the Pugna, the Monkey King.
There is a rock throw available now as well, with the shard going the way of Boom. It's now their only stun, funnily enough.
Ooh, Tomato needs to be careful. He doesn't have a BKB.
It feels like he has to go for the Nullifier over here. I really would probably prefer the BKB right now if you can get like a 9 seconds or something like it. Bottega's almost entire Pierce of the duration is going to be negated. And maybe you have a chance to fight back. The problem is the rest of your teammates are still going to be falling. Banner's been placed, the Hex is there, you're going to be fighting back though, and now the BKB used. Bottega knows he's got no one who can challenge him, he's got no one who can contest him. Boom is a dead man, it's only a right click that stops it, and that right click comes through. Bottega just continues to tear them up. Difference now chasing down the Disruptor. Disruptor is gone. Mouse have no buybacks. You just need to call it at this point. Bottega's not going to stop. He's 15-1-6. This game is over.
There's only one buyback for Mouse, and turns out, tea time, we're not going to get the answer to whether Bottega can be countered out. They're just going to simply finish the game, and that Berserker's call really seemed like Mouse thought that they could initiate upon Bottega and Yellow Submarine would not have any kind of a response? How can you be this arrogant? And Mouse are going to get punished for it.
Mouse have been punished for a whole lot more than that. I mean, you look out towards how well Yellow Submarine draft this entire thing. We were thinking it's going to be Moreta support. They were thinking it's going to be Moreta support. In the second, it was showcased as well. Phoenix is Mouse's bucket pick to come back with. Phoenix is supposed to be your big trump card of being a position 2 Phoenix and getting all of those kills. And Copy does a good job of it. He really does. But at the end of the day, it is Bottega from game number 2 and game number 3 who was just uncontestable. They give the Nature's Prophet over twice. And it just deal with it.
Gracious Prophet, I mean, they tried it as a core, they tried it as a support. Turns out both of those times it wasn't really successful. And the Phoenix pick, I mean, it did do really well, but then you had that one big question. How do you deal against Pierce the Whale? And it turns out they didn't have any answers. And it turned out that Yellow Submarine, they're going to be happy with us. They will be the third team to actually eliminate an invited team from this tournament. And Mouse will be taking the exit.
Well, that leaves us with one more series for the day. It'll be Liga team going up against TNL after a quick break. We'll be back with that one very soon.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Moving forward, I am not tea time and Tultras. I'm tea time. He's Tultras. Just to clarify that one, just in case there were any confusions about that one. But there's no confusions about where we stand. It is very deep into the tournament that we have gotten to, and we're going to take a look at the playoff brackets to prove that to you as well. If you have been missing out on the lower bracket, we've had one okay series and one really good series. Yellow Submarine, a great comeback versus Mouse to be able to take that one away 2-1. They'll be getting their rematch versus OG. And if it goes anything the way it did in the upper bracket, we might see them going further ahead. But before that, we have to find out who our first grand finalist is going to be. It is between Liga and Team Next Level.
And I think that Liga, if they're expecting an easy win against Team Next Level, they are going to have a big surprise coming for them, because Team Next Level are no joke. I mean, UI as the carry position, and then you obviously have the fan favorite for the CCT, Fernandes and Flacco playing on a support duo. It's always a pleasure seeing them have a bit of fun with it. And this time around, they were able to actually beat out some of the other better teams out there, like Passion UA, for example. So let's see what Team Next Level are going to be able to do. They even beat out Yellow Submarine 2-0.
I am actually quite curious about Liga. I know I've seen them around here or there, but I'm not that familiar with their team in particular. But from the demos that I was watching, I actually quite liked what I saw from Erase and Violent especially. But like you said, it's an interesting contrast, right? Where obviously TNL is a fantastic lineup, but Fernandes and Flacco have largely been the engine that's powered so many good CCT runs, so many good runs in Tier 2 tournaments in general, both for TNL over here and for Passion UA in the past.
Come out swinging with that Naga Siren.
Pandamancer is also a hero that, Banana Samjama just keeps on talking about on his YouTube channel, but like, oh my god, this is so good. This is the future of Dota. I'm telling you, it's gonna be EWC, it's gonna be TI, it's gonna be yeah. I believe him. I believe him, but I am waiting for that to come through. Nagasar, the first pick coming out over here though for TL. It's a classic. Like I said, this is a support-centric team for me. I'm expecting to see a lot from them being put in terms of resources. And then, hey, we saw a great Morta performance. You know who's really good with Morta, Beltras? Fernandes.
It will be a position for Morta, so we did have a carry Morta. It doesn't translate into the same thing, but Liga, I think they're going to be more than happy at actually coming out with the Queen of Pain as the first pick. And TNL, ideally, should look towards countering this out. Unfortunately, the Disruptor isn't a strong enough counter against the Queen of Pain because sure you can glimpse her back, but then you also had the Blade Will coming in with for the Queen of Pain. So she's more than happy to actually tank up damage and return it to the other side. Not to mention a very strong hero against the Naga Siren. Those illusions aren't really going to be doing much, right? But for all the flexibility the Naga offers, I do think it's going to be a support Naga.
Yeah, that's more likely than not. Queen of Pain, obviously one of the more higher priority mids as well. I'm still confused about why Quap is considered a higher priority than Puck in a lot of these games, to be honest. I think Puck, for me personally, just feels like it provides more. And although Queen still has that flex potential into position 1, I know that we always talk about this, it's kind of an underwhelming +1 for me. But let's see what sort of comes through.
She has a 35-second pure damage ultimate that deals about 800 to 700 damage, right? It's absurd how
Isn't that the
strong.
level 20 talent?
Yeah, but if you're a core, you're probably going to get
You're
to
going
that
to
level
get to
20.
level 20, but by the time you get there, I don't know. Position 1 co-op probably not for me in that regards. It's more of a, hey, maybe we flex into this at the end. I still prefer the Puck. I just think the Dream Coil is just and the survivability that you get from it is just absolutely insane. But it is also a bit of a personal preference thing in terms of what I like to watch. Bug now being banned out coming out from TNL over here, obviously could be saving Quap a lot more of a pain in the bum as far as just healing her up repeatedly again and again. We've seen how strong the Pokemon can be paired together with strong position 1 heroes as well. And for me, I am very interested to see what Violence pick is going to be coming out from Liga.
I mean, mid lane, there aren't exactly a lot of heroes that actually are able to stack up against the Queen of Pain, but Liga, they have picked the Chen before in the upper bracket. They will be picking the Chen up again, and this time around, I do like Chen. I like the Chen because you have a lot of setups available for the Queen of Pain, right? The any kind of a creep that you're able to bring in the Queen of Pain just does so well with it. As long as you have a frontliner, right? If it's whether it's a hero or a creep, in this case, it's going to be a creep that Chen is going to bring in. The Queen of Pain can just do what the Queen of Pain wants, right? The Shadow Strike slow, it's going to mean you can't run away. You're going to be getting hit by debuffs and disables, and you're going to be in a very tricky spot. Not to mention the Hand of God, right? It's a nice insurance policy for a hero that likes to blink in very aggressively and actually exist in unsafe areas.
Banger response from TNL, and this is one of the heroes that I do remember Passion UA liking to run quite a fair bit though, but this is quite high priority to be giving over. It obviously does okay versus the Queen. You're still going to be in a largely late losing matchup, but with Dark Willow now added into it, there's going to be some very strong lanes for the Banger to be able to gank at the very least, and it won't be the easiest thing in the world for Quap to get her ganks off versus the kind of damage that a Dark Willow and in a lot of cases the Naga can also bring.
It is always interesting to see a Pango versus a Queen of Pain because your ultimate becomes skill based for both of these sides, right? Because the Sonic Wave does apply the pushback to the Rolling Thunder, so it's not exactly a guaranteed bulldozing mechanism that TNL will have. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to how both of these teams do utilize their own respective ultimates. But again, Dark Willow is one of those heroes that can actually take out a core like the Queen of Pain all by herself, assuming you can get to that use scepter timing. With Liga, I think they were watching T-Time. I think they were watching the last few series where you did have a lot of successful primal beasts come about. Not so much for Mouse, but for the other teams.
Look, Primal Beast and Queen of Pain together is always a good combination in general, right? It's so much good slowing from both of them together. You get more of the trample out as well. And then even if you don't have the Pulverize up early on, around that 8-minute mark, if Queen of Pain gets a good rune, it's just a snowball potential with a hero like the Primal Beast. Onslaught helps to initiate as well. It's very good synergy as far as that's concerned. And it's a good way to counter out what is going to be some very strong laning presence coming out from TNL. But I am noticing that both of these teams are generally lacking stuns pretty heavily right now. As far as the TNL side is concerned, at least you have the net, at least you have the reel in that way, and you also do have the rolling thunder. There's actually a lot of disable overall in terms of things like fares and routes and whatnot, but yeah, nothing all that reliable other than the terrorize maybe.
I think Liga can still go for the Terrorblade despite not having those disables like you mentioned. They just have a lot of frontline, right? If the Terrorblade if TNL can't actually capitalize at the back of their disables, and all of those disables are going to be pretty useless, and that's what Liga team have going for them. They can play against all of the roots and against all of the disables that are coming out from the other side, but I mean, obviously, you need disables on your team, right? So one of these two slots that are open for Liga teams should be heroes that do disable the other side. I'm just not sure if the carry should be the one to do that. Oh, that's
I don't love it. It's
Yeah.
obviously pretty good versus the Dark Willow in particular in the lane. So if you do actually have the Zeus plus Primal Beast, you can continue to do damage to Dark Willow even in the Shadow Realm. So that's quite nice. But beyond that, you are now completely kill reliant. Like this offlane of yours is only going to succeed if it gets 3 kills by about 10 or 11 minute marks, or rather at least a 3 kill differential. You need to really be able to snowball off the back of that.
Maybe they're not playing for the laning phase. Maybe they're actually trying to synergize the Queen of Pain's Sonic Wave with the Thunder God's Wrath, so then suddenly you have more than 1,000 damage on whoever the Sonic Wave lands on, right? And when you take a look at TNL's heroes, their heroes aren't exactly all that tanky. The Dark Willow, the Naga Siren, both heroes that do struggle in the sustain department. Even the Pangolier is somewhat of a pseudo frontliner, and I think TNL, they will recognize the weakness of the Zeus there. They will pick themselves up a Medusa, and now, I mean, pure damage, magical damage, physical damage, it doesn't matter what the source of the damage is. That mana shield is going to be sustaining that equally. But
The problem is you need a right clicker on the offlane as well as a big disable, right? I was initially thinking of maybe something like a Tidehunter, but I think Tidehunter just doesn't really give you the damage needed to be able to fight around the Pangolier ultimate until the Medusa comes online. Emberban. They think it might be a Pango offlane. That's fair enough.
But Liga can actually go for a Phantom Lancer here. I don't really see what's stopping them from picking up that PL. There's not really a whole lot that you can do to stop the PL, because as you mentioned, there are roots available which you can dispel at the back of that Manta that the PL naturally makes, and you also have the Doppelganger to actually dodge out that net coming in from the Naga Siren. So the Pango is, or rather the PL right now, is a very strong pick, and I think Liga are posturing towards that because they have banned out a hero that controls like the Invoker. TNL should just ban out the PL right now. I think.
The PL for me, I think the other thing that you could maybe look to ban out, it's not the best, but it's the only sort of like stunning carry I can think of is a Sven, perhaps. You know, it outfarms the Medusa pretty quickly. The damage is very good, so you can actually try and just, nuke down the mana to some extent as well if you're able to activate around that 20-25 minute mark. Again, not the best versus Stone Gaze or the Pangolier, though.
Yeah, and when you consider the fact that you don't have that many disables, that makes heroes that can be kited very weak, right? Heroes that can be kited rely on a team bringing in the disables so that the team is able to hold the opposing team in so that you can actually dish out damage. So right now in this situation, heroes like the Swen, heroes like the Ursa, I wouldn't recommend them for Liga. For TNL, though, we spoke about a lot about the about what potential carry Liga can go for, but as far as the mid laner goes here, I mean, TNL can just pick up the Storm. There's very limited kiting potential. The Storm can actually dodge out the Sonic Wave coming about, but no, they are in fact going to play a mid Pango, or this may even be a mid Beastmaster. We will have to see, but I think it should be the mid Pango. The Beastmaster can farm on that offlane.
I like the Beastmaster. I think it's very good over here. When I said that they need disables and damage, I was thinking more AoE disables, but this is very, very good. The Roar also is just a natural counter to whatever you want to go for over here for Liga's carry as well. On top of it also, yeah, Liga's been put in a difficult spot as far as whatever they pick is concerned. Phantom Lancer is still pretty good, and yeah, that is what will end up coming through over here. So they have a way to burn down the mana from the Medusa, and Dual Raise will be having a slightly hard. Dual Raise is playing. Okay, it is a mid Beastmaster then. They want the level 6 faster than Violence PL will be able to come alive. That's what the call is.
I mean, the mid Beastmaster likes to go for the mid Beastmaster doesn't like to go for that Helm of the Overlord build, the standard offlane build. The mid Beastmaster likes to go for that Aghanim Scepter as kind of fighting-oriented lineup, right? So perhaps they are looking to actually shut down this Phantom Lancer before he is able to come online. And I do think that Phantom Lancer is one of those heroes that takes a very long time to come about before he's able to actually counter out the Medusa. So
Yeah, you basically
maybe
want to have the Aghanims and the Diffusal Blade before you actually come to a fight, right?
yeah, maybe he even skips the Aghanims. The Aghanims, I don't actually think the Aghanims on the PL is all that strong of ability. I think you should just go for the Diffusal, the Manta into the Eye of Skadi, or maybe even into the Eye of Skadi. I think that should be the way they go about it. Um, I think you need stats more than anything else, because if you get locked down, that is going to be the worst case scenario. However, at the same time, it's very difficult to get locked down in this game. Your team should be able to provide you with a sustain because you have the Sonic Wave coming in always, right? And
It just feels like the Aghanims for the Phantom Lancer, it still has to be such a priority. The amount of extra illusions you're able to get, the amount of extra space you're able to get on the phase rush. Without that, you're never going to make it through the Medusa in the first place. But yeah, let's see how exactly it goes. But you know, on the topic of the Queen of Pain, she really needs to be able to get off to a good start.
ideally should be able to, because you are playing against the Beastmaster. What's going to be interesting to see is what skill builds the Queen of Pain goes for. Because typically against a melee hero, you go for the maxed out Shadow Strike. However, the maxing the Shadow Strike in this scenario may not be the way to go about it, because the Beastmaster, one, has a lot of HP, a lot of sustain, has a lot of recoverability. So even if you zone him out of the lane, there's no guarantee he won't be able to amp himself up in the mid game anyway. So perhaps you go for the Scream of Pain and play with the Zeus Thunder God's Wrath when that comes about. I do favor Liga's draft though. I think TNL, when they went for that last ban on the Ursa, they really missed the mark on actually banning out the PL, because there was no other carry for Liga to pick up. Beastmaster, oh man. I can't help but I don't actually know who would have been stronger on the mid lane, the Pango or the Beastmaster.
It's a losing battle either way. I think it's more about who's stronger against the Phantom Lancer, and it does feel like the Pango probably does a bit more in that regards.
I don't think either of them do too well though against the PL. I agree with does do a bit more because you have that swashbuckle, that AoE damage coming in, and that's does a bit more damage to the PL compared to the wild axes. But one thing you need to consider is the swashbuckle isn't as spammable as the wild axes are either, right? And the PL in laning phase does do pretty bad against the boars when they're able to stack up. Right now, TNL don't actually have a way to stop PL from farming. And Liga don't have that same problem, right? You take a look at the pick-off potential for Liga team, the Zeus and the Queen of Pain, so much magical damage, and then you have the Primal Beast against UI. So as soon as this Queen of Pain hits that level 6, there are ways to actually take UI down. But for TNL, making a move on that Phantom Lancer comes with a risk of being punished very hard.
Look, what I'm hearing from you is the idea that TNL is entirely reliant on their Medusa coming online in time for it to not be a late game hero, but a mid game hero, so the Phantom Lancer doesn't get the crazy space it needs.
Yeah, that's
This is the strangest window to activate a win condition that you could have for
Radiant's
Medusa.
courier.
It's one they've found themselves in, or rather, it's one they created for themselves, because you could have told what TNL wanted to do, right? Because they banned out the anti-mage. So they were clearly worried about the Medusa being countered. But they didn't think about the PL. They didn't think that Liga would be brave enough to go for this.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Clearly, they've not been watching the BSJ videos or the replays. No, of course, that's not true. Everyone's watching the BSJ videos.
Hellscream used the Thunderbolt to secure the range scream. I'm not too sure about that one. The Zeus has just one purpose in the lane. Spam out those Thunderbolts, and then you just either replenish your mana or go back to the fountain.
My kind of game, eh? Single ability. Just keep on spamming it, go back to Fountain. What I am curious to see, though, is with Fernand's going down to the bottom lane versus Violet, can Fernand's and Norma find some kills on a BB3? This Shen is generally a good target of attack while he sends his creeps away. But it is particularly difficult to do too much. The regen as well from the Chen is incredibly annoying.
I mean, you can
consistently just be regening up.
You can get a kill on the Chen, but I think Liga are going to be more than happy sacrificing their supports here, right? As long as their Queen of Pain and their Phantom Assassin stays alive, no one else is important for them. You take a look at the power spikes that TNL are able to gain at the back of them getting some kills, right? Because capitalization is what makes you stronger against the other side. And the Pangolier, he gets off to a good start. What is he going to have? And a Diffusal Blade. Does it help him take the Queen of Pain down? No. Does it help him take the PL down? Not really. It helps him take the Zeus down and the Chen down, if that's any consolation.
Thank God for that, right? A lot of courier deaths actually coming through early on. This is much more than you normally get to see.
And it was actually both the couriers for UI, so he won't actually have that mana regen coming in.
Flacco, a little bit low, a little bit in trouble. UI, however, even if he doesn't have the mana regen, the Mystic Snakes are going to be able to continually refresh him back up.
He only has one mango to play with though, and with the creep being pushed, this creep wave being pushed this far out, needs to be careful. We'll have a Lotus going his way. Okay, there we go. So he can play a bit more aggressive.
I'll scream. I mean, he's just going to be able to finish off the mana right now for UI, the way things are going. Just with right clicks early, he hasn't even used the Lightning Bolt, so been very efficient as far as that's concerned.
Ooh, he's actually skilled up his Heavenly Jump instead of the 2 points in a Thunderbolt.
He really wants to go for a kill over here, or at least be able to keep poking away, and that Heavenly Jump is showcased there and then.
Medusa
does make him a lot more survivable over here.
Yeah. But I would have still liked to see the 2 points in the Heavenly Jump. Just burn away more mana, right? Burning away the mana of the Medusa is the only way to actually go in for a kill.
Lane, Flacco taken down. She's not the only one you can go on Daltrus. UI will be able to stay alive, but it loses support for it. The troubles, however, continue. Rotation back in from Fernand, and Hellscream will fall for 1-for-1.
An exchange that favors Liga just a little bit because they were able to get the first blood, but it's nothing too significant. And Corrupted needs to be careful because he can get ensnared here.
Flacco making his move forward. Corrupted turns things around. It is very low on the mana for UI. UI has to be incredibly careful, and quick Mango out rather than Lotus used. And now it's a turnaround. The Blood Grenade comes through. Hellscream comes forward. This is a big kill, and it might not stop here. Flacco, you know, you just TP'd back into tower. You have to be careful. Level 1 Thunderbolt does make it a slightly more difficult kill, but with the Harpy's Stormcrafter coming out from the corner, turns out Zeus is asking for help from his minions. What a rotation from BB3.
Oh man, and that rotation wouldn't have been as effective if the Chen went up there, but he sent the creeps in. And the creeps, oh man, what a perfect timing from them. TNL being caught off guard, and UI wasn't expecting the Zeus to come there, and surely you should play a bit more defensive on this Medusa. Even if you don't expect a surprise, you should still play safe. Erase, or rather Erase, expected to go for the maxed out Stream of Pain, and the 6-minute mark is approaching.
Why? I mean, once again, back down to 0 mana, basically. You can continue on about dual raise, yes. Or rather, E-raise.
I would like to, but the power rune is actually going to be secured by dual raise. So the Queen of Pain won't be able to make the rotation that she wants. Has to stick around the mid lane for a little while longer, perhaps for that 8-minute mark, or if she wants to go for a rotation, has to be at the back of going back to the fountain to regen up, because right now she is on too little mana.
Fernandez is trying to go for a wraparound behind Erase. If they get level 6 with both boars attacking Erase, I do wonder if the Bramble Maze would be enough to get the kill potentially. But in the top lane, Flacco has been pushed away. UI has been pushed back to the jungle. Flacco's dead. That is basically a guarantee. BB3 even comes over just to get involved.
And your
This
wife
laning phase could not go better for Liga.
Yeah, they feel so safe that they've actually left their Phantom Answer towards the bot side to farm, and he can hold his own against Norma. This is the worst case scenario coming to light for TNL. Your own carry zoned out, the opposing carry feeling so comfortable. And your
you're
towers
losing
are
to
going to
tier
start
1.
falling.
Top tower
Yeah,
is under
it's a disaster if I've ever seen one.
UI's little pocket of space that he's carved out in his own jungle is going to start to disappear.
The tier 1 tower towards the mid side is pretty healthy though. So it won't, the UI won't be in that much trouble as long as that mid side tower is still standing, since there's only one way in for Liga, which is through the top side. But either defend your mid position, which is going to be hard, or rotate some heroes in so that the Medusa can get some space. But Jewel Rays right now, you know, the mid beast monster has to create that scepter. There's no other way to go about it. And he's still pretty far away from it. 8-pin Power Rune is going to go towards the bot lane once again. It is going to be Jewel Rays who picks it up, and he has an Invis. As useless of a rune it is T-time, this time around it's in the hands of the Beastmaster, who can go for a roar, but needs to go for it. I think his team really needs to get a core kill.
Did you just call the Invis rune useless?
tower is under attack.
I call it's the second most, or rather, no, yes, it is the most useless.
What?
It doesn't do anything.
You can gank.
Yeah, but is he going for a gang? I said he needs to go
That's
for a gang.
his problem.
He has an Invis rune. He needs to be going for gang. And I also said that Invis rune is great in the hands of the Beastmaster because you come out with a surprise initiation. But all
What's
roads
surprising
go
is
back to
about
your
to be
intention.
that this bottom lane is going to have a kind of dead Bangalore pretty soon. Hellscream can interrupt that ultimate. Don't forget that that is one of the things you can use the Thunderbolt for. And maybe it might not even be needed with the Pulverize coming over. You've got yourself the Sonic Wave. That's not used either. So you get yourself the quick kill. You get a bit more space for your PL. And maybe he can start to go back into the triangle. That's where Dual Rays is. They're hunting for this mid laner. Rays should realize what's going on over here. They still have that Sonic Wave. Will they be able to chase him down successfully? No one here to close the gap. No pincer maneuver possible. So it will just be a little bit of time wasted, and frankly, a little bit of time for UI to start bringing himself back up.
It's also going to be an Invis rune you wasted, by the way.
Oh no.
You
The
know?
most useless rune.
Yeah. It was so useless he decided to actually dispel his own invisibility. And just
Well,
take a
right
sip from
now,
that bottle.
UI's just had a triple Satyr mana burn chucked out onto him. I don't know if you knew this, but Chen is a direct counter to Medusa. I've just found this out. Roar out onto the Queen of Pain. No Power Rune having spawned, and Queen of Pain just gonna fight back. Sonic Wave looking real good. Dual Rays looking kind of bad. That's not a good situation to be caught out in.
The Sonic Wave, the Thunderbolt combination is just too much.
Good damage onto a race at the very least. He will end up falling. This is a surprising turnaround. Norma getting very well involved. L6 is here for Hellscream.
Bottom tower is under
He's going to be able to provide that extra support. Chen is just taking his 3 Satyr Mindsealers with him to the Medusa constantly. That's all he's doing. He's just sitting there to be able to split push and burn her mana.
It's
UI can't walk into lane without losing. Wait, how much mana did they burn? Let me just check this one. I'm not even sure. It's 20 plus 2 multiplied with the target's intelligence. So you know, it's about 120 mana per. 360 mana basically being burned immediately. BB3 though might end up being the one burned up instead. Fernandes with level 6 should be able to guarantee this skill. The red limb comes forward as well. And the reel back, well, it's just a cherry on top. But Corrupted does lie nearby. He's got the Blink Dagger and the Pulverize coming off of cooldown. He just doesn't have enough support. The Thunder God's Wrath wouldn't have been enough to assist him in a kill.
I don't think he's
Radiant's
going to go for it.
bottom
If
tower
Liga
is
want to
under
take it down
attack.
the Medusa, they need to bring more heroes in. But right now, they should be very happy with the fact that their PL is constantly farming. Has, I believe, the Diffusal Blade, which is flying out now. So also has a bit of killing potential. And perhaps we might even see the PL make a move on the Medusa if Liga are able to set him up for it.
I mean, I wouldn't hate putting the PL in the top lane with the Shen to help support him. That would be quite nice to see. But now comes out the smoke. They've got the scan. Norma is going to be the first one spotted out. He's going to be found trying to go in. Illusion will manage to help him actually evade the Thunderbolt, but Norma's been pushed back above the high ground. Flacco trying to move into a position where he can initiate. It's a good Bramble Maze and the net. It does get pushed together just a little bit, but with a roar to follow up, Erase was always going to be dead. BB3 could be a little bit of dessert to come through. Chen, well, yes, please, don't mind if I do. Problem is, Fernand's, the waiter, has not been tipped very well. He's just been taken down and out, fired in the back of the alley.
I think Liga's Queen of Pain needs to play a bit more careful. You need to respect the other side. You need to respect the Song of the Siren and the follow-up that comes alongside of it. And you don't have a Blade Mail. Things would be very different if you had that one item, but you need to farm it up.
Violent, you said we might see him being involved. It might not be on the Medusa kills, but at least he's being able to get great damage onto Flacco. Dual raise and taken down on the side. You go back in for a little bit more farming in a tier 1 tower. Don't mind if I do.
And it's double-natured, right? The Phantom Lancer, every time he shows up in a team fight, that disables TNL from actually bringing in their Medusa. Because it's so risky. If you don't get the strong Stone Gaze off, the Medusa is going to fall. There's a 2000 net worth advantage for the side of Liga. It really seems like they have the map control in their space as well. TNL were able to mount up a comeback as far as that last team fight goes, as far as being able to take the opposing mid laner goes. But still, it really seems like they're a watered down version of the One Punch Man.
Naga Siren has been punched up. Not quite the one punch, but many. Tosho, this is getting a little bit out of hand for TNL, and I have to ask the question, when does it get back into hand? What is your win condition for TNL now? You're down 3,000 net worth at that 15-minute mark. It does feel like you've got no space on the map to be able to farm up, and the enemy carry is going to be given free farm, and nothing you can do will stop that. How do you prevent what seems like inevitable demise?
The Basemaster Scepter would be a good start, and you need to get off some good Rolling Thunders, but that actually doesn't actually help them out that much, right? Because it really seems like outside of that Rolling Thunder and Roar, they don't actually have much. They don't have much fuel to continue those fights with. So perhaps opening up some space at the back of some smoke plays onto the Queen of Pain, onto the Primal Beast, take the Queen of Pain down, and open up some space for the Medusa to farm. That could be one way where they have a chance to come back. I'm not saying that's going to put them on the map, but it's going to put them somewhere close by.
At least they'll be holding a map.
Yeah.
Even if they're not on it.
It'll be disputed territory.
Maybe we don't get into that. Flacco's hunting. Flacco wants to fight and he will be given Hell Scream. Not quite the play that you were looking for, but the reel back in and it's 11-9 Zeus. Problem is, it's 11-9 Zeus. He's doing so much damage.
Oh, you thought you were winning?
Had there been anyone nearby to go for a response, Flacco would surely be dead. But now that he's still alive, still has a song, there's still a chance to be able to continue fighting forward. Erase and his AD, though, make this feel like a slightly less convincing case.
They are going to back away. Keep in mind, Liga are don't have any kind of requirement to actually match up the tempo of TNL. They can continue farming up if they want to, but will TNL allow that?
Roar comes out onto the Queen of Pain. She will be taken down the way things are going, but is there a response? Corrupted, Pulverize is going to be immediately interrupted. Dual Raise is backing off. A long range of Blood Grenade, and Hellscream is trying to skirt around the edges of the Opera. He will still fall, though. Long range access to make sure of it. Hellscream is barely going to get away. Somehow Norma can't close his distance, and he didn't have another swashbuckle available. But Despite what looked like it could have been a slightly disastrous team fight, it is only Erase who is going to fall. The Queen of Pain is going to be somewhat content with the sacrifice.
More than content, right? It's the lack of fuel. It's the lack of being able to continue with the fight outside of the Rolling Thunder and the Beastmaster Roar. So when I said they should get the kill on the Queen of Pain, I didn't mean a kill that ends up punishing yourself instead, right? They need to get clean kills. They need to get a kill, and they need to be able to disengage.
That just sounds like unclear instructions.
And with the Queen of Pain making an use, it's going to be a set of instructions that TNL may not be able to commit to.
Has been denied.
Because the Queen of Pain, keep in mind, the last 2 times the Queen of Pain died was in the river where you were able to get consecutive barrel rolls off on her. But with the use, that's not going to be possible.
What's Medusa's status? It is only a Manta style, quite far from the Maelstrom. Net worth is deceiving, don't look at that. Second highest in the net worth from Medusa, but she really needs to be basically about 3,000 gold ahead at any given point.
It's rough. You think about how different this game would be. Oh wait, I'll have to hold that thought as the Raze gets roared up. And he's gonna fall just like that. Really needs to be careful, right? He's
really fighting hard for those power runes, isn't he?
Yeah. All of his deaths have been in the river. Just avoid the river.
Just maybe don't pick up. Just sell your bottle. You know what? That's what you need. Put down the bottle, there is.
Corrupted has a BKB. This Primal Beast is actually quite hard to take down. You take a look at some of these kill targets that TNL have, and it's just the supports.
And the Queen of Pain. And the Queen. Hey,
but the Queen of Pain is making mistakes, right?
She's making herself a kill target. Actually, the Agnim's on the verge for Norma as well. We'll be adding a little bit more of a conversation to this one. The extra swashbuckles will be giving a lot more damage where it was really sorely needed.
Meanwhile, Violent will be making his way towards his Aghanim Scepter, and I'm not too sure about that. I think he really needs stat items. I think he needs a harder to Rask and a high of Scotty. This Scepter may put themselves in a position where TNL are going to be stronger.
Now another fight comes in. This time it's going to be the BB3 who's caught off by the Brambles. He's incredibly tanky because of that Essence Ring though, and the Roar will only interrupt what is inevitable. Dual Rays being pursued up. Is there another chase that can come through? No, they decide not to use the remaining seconds of golden hour. That BKB is not going to be used aggressively.
Zeus will have a Scepter soon.
That's seriously scary.
He can disable the Rolling Thunder from going off wherever he is on the map.
Suddenly, Erase feels a little bit more safe.
How many points is... Okay, yeah. Shadow Strike is only level 2. Once you have that level 4 Shadow Strike coming about, your chase potential is going to be pretty strong. When you consider the fact that TNL don't actually have those BKBs, Jewel Raze has a Blink Dagger, but now he's queued up his BKB. Will be about 4 to 5 minutes at the minimum before he's able to craft that item. And Medusa so far is farming up, but Yuwai, he has actually gone for a Maelstrom, deciding to counter out the Phantom Lancer instead of enabling herself. I wonder how well that will work out for them.
I think the Maelstrom was actually nerfed, and the Mjolnir as well was really heavily nerfed for illusions in the 7.39D, wasn't it?
It was. But the bigger point is that every time I've seen someone go for a Maelstrom or a Mjolnir to try and counter out the Phantom Lancer, it never really ends up countering him out.
Unless you're really far ahead already, right? That's obviously a different situation. Preemptive counters are different, but now Violent is well en route to the Aghanim Scepter. He's going to have that one at about 1,200 gold, so...
Phantom Lancer will always have the choice to attack you, right? That's the beauty about that hero. He's very agile. So,
also, frankly speaking, even if you're losing at the illusions, if they're all getting like 3 right clicks onto you, your mana is burned.
yeah. He'll have a Scepter of soon-ish. No, it's
22
definitely
minutes, you're
soon.
going to have a Manta Diffusal Scepter.
Yeah, he's very farmed up. And after that, he'd probably look towards creating some... either the Heart or the Eye of Scotty. I would personally prefer the Scotty, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he chooses his conventional
Really?
route and goes for the Heart.
Why would you prefer the Scotty?
I think the slow just would be really good coupled up with the Shadow Strike.
Is under attack.
Okay. Well, for now, Corrupted is going to be able to get a quick kill on Ferdinand. Erase has learned his lesson. Go for the Power Rune after they've already taken it, and you can get the kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I actually think this might be a good Daedalus game for the PL.
Do you need a Daedalus though? Because TNL...
The thing is, with the Aghanims, the amount of like you are guaranteed to get like 3 right clicks off with all of your illusions onto either support or the Medusa. You don't need to go in. You're just going to continue to blink these guys down. There aren't that many fantastic illusion clearing heroes on the dire side.
I actually don't think he needs to take anyone else apart from the Medusa down. And it's the
Okay.
kind of an opposite scenario of
We're going to hold the point though, because Norma's right now going in for what should be a quick kill on the BB3. Never a quick kill though when there's a Chen on the other side. It takes its time. Interruption from Nimbus will be causing a little bit more damage, but can there be any more kills from the Radiant in response? Doesn't feel like it's easy. A Raze going in onto the front lines is going to dodge out the stun courtesy of the use. Now comes in Yawai. He needs to be able to fight back and keep his mana up. Illusions are not going to be burning him alive. There aren't enough illusions spawned already. The Phantom Lancer forced backwards. Now the kill onto the Queen of Pain and the Chen. This is looking like a very good engagement for TNL.
They weren't expecting the Medusa to come into the fight. And you can tell that by the positioning of the Queen of Pain. Erase felt that he was comfortable, but he had another thing coming. However, taking Roshan down is a wholly different story because you don't have your Rolling Thunder.
Corrupted finds himself another kill. Fernandes goes down and the illusion's going to be revealing the Roshan. It might be too late though, but Yavai is going to lose all of his mana and he's already used that ultimate. Song of the Siren keeps him alive. Flacco's given him a longer life, not just the one.
Oh, they found the
Problem is,
grab.
it is just the one. He didn't actually pick up the Aegis. It was the Beastmaster to pick the Aegis in the rush of battle. And while that happened, Medusa goes down. Song of the Siren already used the long-range boulder smash, rather the rock throw, onto dual raise, and he does turn things around to some extent, but there's going to be a doppelganger available, and Violent can just get the hell away from there.
Middle tower is under attack.
They can even go in if they want to, but I think Liga are going to be playing this a bit safe. But TNL didn't have the Rolling Thunder, didn't have the Roar, but they chose to stick around Roshan. And sure, you grabbed yourself up the Aegis, but at what cost? You just gave up your Medusa's life, the hero that had the highest net worth in the game, and that is a lot of gold you gave away to the other side. Liga are not going to be second guessing whether or not they should fight against the Aegis. They will each and every single time.
I mean, Violent has got no death so far. He's not been the most involved in the early stage, obviously, don't get me wrong, but it's really hard to kill this PL. Bango is really the only person who feels like he might actually have a chance to do that.
It's not going to get any easier because UI is going for a very... I mean, sure, the Scepter is a conventional item. But this Mjolnir, it really hurts you. That's a very expensive item. It's 5,500 gold. That's an entire Eye of Scotty. It's an entire butterfly that you could have made.
I mean, I don't know. The problem is, I don't entirely blame him. There's no one who's ever going to be able to deal with the PL, and you can't ignore him. Not when you're a Medusa.
Oh. Yulbraze needs to be careful. So does a Dark Willow.
Well, there's the initiation coming through early on. It's Roar, but it was already a Thunder God's Wrath used up. The good thing is they do take down Corrupted, and with Corrupted on the sidelines, it becomes a little bit more difficult. Flacco has the chance to be able to pull the song off. And now, do they have a Terrorize? Do they have an ability to be able to quickly isolate out this Phantom Lancer and let the Medusa come back into the fight? No, they don't. So they'll forfeit the tier 2, which never feels good, and it feels even worse when you already have the Aegis.
You know, back yesterday, Tea Time, when we were casting, there was four words that I described OG in that game with the Tidehunter against Passion UA. No Ravage, no team fight. And for this time around, it seems like a similar set of 4 words to describe what TNL, the circumstances TNL are in, and it's no roar, no team fight.
To be fair, they do not lose their tier 2 and they get a Primal Beast kill while their Medusa's farming. This is actually... I might have underplayed this a bit. This is a very good fight for them that came through.
It was a good fight, but you also take a look at the amount of pressure that they're faced up with when those ultimates run out. They couldn't continue with the fight. It could have gone horribly for them if they chose to stick around. Now, sure, they grabbed themselves up to 1 kill, but it's all about a game of capitalization. How do you transition from that 1 kill?
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Another roar, another fight. And TNL at the very least are doing a very good job of using dual races roars every single time they're off of cooldown. He is constantly turning this into a 5v4. He is constantly putting Liga in a place where they have to be putting themselves at risk of a numerical disadvantage. Liga have often been able to play around that potential disadvantage. I'll give them credit for it, but dual race is doing everything he can.
Oh yeah, he's had a phenomenal game with the Beastmaster so far. And maybe if he's able to create this Shiva's Guard as well as a refresher, that double roar, if you are somehow able to hold the Phantom Lancer and take him down, Liga, their entire lineup collapses. It's a hard ask, but it's the one you will need to pull off. And it's not, I say hard, but it's not impossible. You have a Blink Dagger. You can make your way on top of the PL. The only problem is Liga are playing this so careful. Violent has constantly been the one to counter-initiate rather than be on the front line. I haven't seen this Phantom Lancer make himself out to be vulnerable even a single time this game.
Oh, he's been very impressive. There's no doubt about it. Tier 2s are going to be traded on either side, and again, very, very happy with that. If you're TNL, the Ukrainian side will be now looking to see what they do when the Aegis runs out, though, and that's going to be right about now.
They can continue to farm. I mean, it's very difficult for Liga to actually make their way towards high ground. I say that, at the same time, it's very difficult for TNL to do the same thing. So, the high ground is a very risky place for both of these sides. They will need several kills before they're able to make it to the opposing side's high ground. I'm not sure who's going to actually make it there first. This can be anyone's game. Honestly, I would say Liga have the big advantage because they have a direct counter in that late game, but I wouldn't be surprised if TNL, with the game that this Beastmaster has had, I wouldn't be surprised if Dual Raze is able to lock down that PL. So far, I haven't, at the same time as I say that Phantom Lancer has played this very careful, I haven't seen TNL actually make a move on PL either. So who knows what happens when they decide to do so.
When Yuai has that butterfly and he has the shard, that's going to be the moment that TNL can maybe even try to fight. If you don't dodge out the stone gaze, it'll be problematic. But right now, the problems are the same as always. Dual Raze goes in with the Roar, Corruption stays alive, and he turns it around with a Pulverize. This is big. If they don't get a kill with this Roar, this team fight becomes impossible. Fortunately, they finish it off. Unfortunately, Violent is in the back lines. And Violent is not stopping. Yuai up next. Look at that mana go. Right into the bin. Flacco, fantastic job with the Song of the Siren to be able to refresh the mana on the Medusa and also back out with her as well. So, Medusa will be kept alive with another Song of the Siren. Flacco's been doing a fantastic job with that, sure, but you will lose your tier 2 for it.
And right there was we saw what happens when a Medusa goes up against a Phantom Lancer 1-to-1. I mean, the mana just burnt instantly. And sure, you have the Song of the Siren, but how many times will you have that contingency? That's the big problem. It's a very long cooldown. And TNL constantly, you know, at the Dual Raze plays there, he has been a playmaker for his team, but it's been, even in those massive team fights, just one kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's even making a Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, I mean, The problem is you are
How
going
does-
to have team fights you win as TNL potentially, right? I really do think that you're never making it onto the high ground. It's just not going to happen unless you end up with like a 15,000 net worth lead in an Aegis.
Or unless you take this PL down. But it's hard. It'll get harder still when you have that Shivas up for the Queen of Pain, and when you'll have Corrupted with his Lincoln Sphere. Liga can just choose to optimize their Phantom Lancer.
Are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
There's a Heart of Tarask up for Violent. And he's now going for a Bloodthorn, so he's not actually going for the Eye of Scotty. And I like this approach, because what he's thinking is...
You already
hey,
have
yeah,
heart.
Yeah, but the idea behind this Bloodthorn is that he's thinking to himself, or maybe he's thinking it out loud to his team, to be fair, is the fact that TNL have been able to protect UI at the back of that Song of the Siren. What happens when we disable the Naga from doing that? Just silence the Naga down, and then UI, the Medusa, will be split open.
To be fair, you're never getting to the Naga. If you get to the Naga, it doesn't matter if you have a silence or you don't have a silence. If the Naga is using your Song of the Siren before the Medusa's mana is being burned down to a grave, the team fight's lost, right? I actually don't love the Orchid over there. I think the Orchid could be useful in a few other places, but personally, I think this Orchid is slightly underwhelming. I would have much rather had, again, like a Daedalus or just a damage item.
Dire are scanning.
He does need an MKB, or I'm not sure if he needs one, but an
It
MKB
feels-
would be nice, because you have a
Feels like
butterfly
the
on the
mana
other
burn
side.
matters more than anything else, so maybe the MKB doesn't matter that much. Erase right now, though. Blinks forward. Flacco will be able to get away to safety. Barely just.
The Roshan is up. This is a very important fight for both of these teams. Whoever comes out on top will be ahead.
They know Roshan's going to be falling fast. Violent is not making his way over. They will let UI get this Roshan potentially. A quick rock throw into the Roche pit. Dual Raze is trying to fight back into the rear already used on the Lincoln Sphere. That means this team fight might already be lost. Dual Raze has been taken down. The Raze finds two with that Sonic Wave. And UI, who's still hunting desperately for an Aegis, will not be given one until the song is already used. TP timing will work out. BB3 has got no way of being able to stop that TP from going off. But, and again, Song of the Siren has been the ability of the game for TNL, but now it's on the sideline for 2 whole minutes.
I'm not sure what TNL can do. It really seems like they are delaying the inevitable. At the same time, they have a solid way to win this game if they're able to get the roar off. But hinging your chances on one single ability, one single person, may often end up with disappointment. And sure, you're able to get the Aegis, but what good is an Aegis if you are unable to fight with it?
It's just a matter of time, I suppose, in that case. So look at the damage from Norma. Look at the gold from Hellscream.
It's a very farmed up Zeus, to be fair. He's 13,000 net worth. He has double the net worth of the Willow.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And he'll have a refresher soon, by the way. He's about oh no, he's actually pretty far away from it. Yeah, I sometimes underestimate the amount of gold the refresher actually requires.
Do you go for a BKB in the Medusa?
Are scanning.
The problem with all of these items, the Mjolnir, the BKB, is, again,
Radiant's top tower
Phantom
under
Lancer
attack.
is such an agile hero that he will only fight you at a time and place of his choosing.
Well, for now, Corrupted is going to be reverse pulverized back up. There's a lot happening elsewhere. It is actually dual race to find Violence somehow getting the kill there.
Radiant's
And this is the perfect opportunity. TNL should be maximizing what they can get out of this.
It's 75 seconds till the BL is back, and you do have an Aegis on the Medusa. Suddenly, TNL could genuinely take down pretty much all the outer tier towers.
It's not as simple because, again, you have the level 20 mark on the Queen of Pain. It's a 35-second cooldown on that Sonic Wave. We can clear the entire creep wave up if you want, but you're right, you can make your way towards some of these outer tier 2 towers, take them down, perhaps even force out the glyph from the tier 3.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's
I'll have to
middle
do it without
tower is under
any
attack.
creep waves over here, so back row protection should be enough to be able to protect the top tier 2 at the very least. Karma. Yields up, Erase is out of here.
Radiant's middle tower is
Phantom Lancer will be back up in about 20 seconds, and hopefully this knocks some sense into Violent. He's not as invulnerable, but particularly not if TNL are able to get the roar off.
Tier 3 glyph really needs to be used to try to make sure that the Phantom Lancer can come back in and see if there can be a fight to be had. But remember, UI's Aegis is always going to be a major factor. There's also a lot of heroes who can initiate in when the Aegis timer is going off in the 5 seconds. You can actually have Norma coming through with a Blink Dagger and Rolling Thunder forward. So both teams will respect the other side and stay away from the high ground. UI will, however, collect on that second tier 2 tower. Like we mentioned, all the outer tier towers have been taken down from both teams now.
Radiant's top
And Medusa's about to gain a lot of survivability, right? 40 intelligence at the back of that level 25 talent. That's going to give her about 480 mana.
Well, she might need it before that level 25 talent could come through. Look at how fast his mana goes away, but dear God, it comes back just as quickly. Erase is not feeling good about himself, not in the slightest. Tier 3 tower should be falling. Mana burn all
Radiant's top tower has
will be nice to see, but at the same time, UI is just picking up mana like it's nobody's business.
Liga are
Radiant's
want to wait out this Aegis, I would like to think, but they're also at the same time not really committing on towards UI. Or even on the back
seconds left on
line.
this Aegis. Like, you're not going to find the kill on the UI immediately after, but they're trying to wrap around behind. They're worried about the Naga Siren. They want her desperately, but Naga just blinks backwards. The Thunder God's Wrath, it's too late. They're going to realize there's no real targets for them to go for. They've even lost their tier 3 tower in middle meanwhile.
Liga are collapsing right now. They played it very calm, very collected, but I think there's a bit of panic setting in. The Thunder God's Wrath should have gone out to give them the vision of the Naga Siren if they wanted to make a play towards the back line.
And now it's the quick roar onto Erase. Silenced up as well. He's not going to be able to get anything done. Pulverize might buy him some time. Yule Scepter on himself. And it is a response on Norma. BKB now used. UI is just going to be given a chance to back off over here. Zeus would have loved to have an Nimbus off of cooldown to be able to interrupt that teleportation. That's one thing that maybe could have made a difference to this Song of the Siren and how completely invulnerable it's felt.
I really think that Corrupted should wait with his BKB. I think when the song comes out, he can use the BKB, go in and just pulverize the Naga Siren to disable that song. So
To be
far,
honest, I think the play is maybe even just that he stays far enough that he can do the rocks throw.
yeah, that sounds like the easier method compared to what I suggested.
Like you pulverize your back off if you're alive and you do the rock throw, or maybe put some of that Zeus form to good use and pull out a BKB, buddy.
Or, I mean, now that you mention it, the Zeus can actually cancel the Naga
He
Siren
uses the
song.
Nimbus a lot earlier on, is the issue.
Yeah. He uses it defensively to try and buy the Queen of
Yeah.
Pains some amount of time.
But you understand, right? Like, that's okay. I just think you go for a BKB on the Zeus, or you make the rock throw a real priority for Corrupted.
We're about to hit critical mass for both of these carries. Phantom Lancer, I mean, the atomization it has been a bit lackluster. Does really needs an Eye of Scotty, or maybe an MKB. You have a Butterfly on UI, and he has, with that evasion, he stops a lot of his mana burn.
See, you know what else burns mana, Toltrus?
What?
The reason why I keep saying Daedalus. Damage burns mana. This Bloodthorn has really been... I genuinely think this has been probably the pickup that might cost them the game. Violent's been completely useless for the Bloodthorn, and now the lead between the Medusa and him is just growing ever so much larger.
The lead isn't going to be that much more significant because there's not a whole lot of items the Medusa can make from this point on, right? He can look towards picking up a Divine Rapier, which is a very risky item because if the Phantom Lancer grabs that Rapier in any kind of a circumstance, your game is over.
Yeah,
but
PL
you're right,
went
Bloodthorn
from
is
being one of the best rapier carriers, one of the worst rapier carriers to one of the best in terms of just the ability to increase your illusion damage now because of that illusory armaments.
The Bloodthorn isn't an item that I suppose has worked out for Violent, at least in the sense that there's a huge gap between what he wanted to do and what he has been able to do.
You were never going to close the distance on the Flacco, that's the thing.
Yeah. He's just too careful on the Naga. These two things have been perfect for TNL. The roars and the songs.
That's true. Really putting up massive numbers around the Medusa to allow her to even be at this place of carrying, potentially.
They are going for a wraparound, though. Oh, and they might actually find the Beastmaster.
Critical kill, dual raise will be caught out. Nimbus to initiate, but he gets the BKB off in time. That adds a bit of survivability. Not all that much more has been used. It's onto the corrupted Primal Beast. Song of the Siren as well. Deployed. UI will have no way to be able to back off. This is an all-in commitment. Rolling Thunder on the back lines. Brings back in all the stuns onto the BL imaginable. Victim Violent is going to be a victim. The way things are going, he's barely backed out of there. Queen of Pain is caught out in the open, blinks away herself as well. You've lost Corrupted on the Primal Beast, and Hellscream is up next. This might not be over for the Radiant's misery. Violent was hoping that with a harder toss he can regen and go back in over, but this is going to be the ultimate recession.
They made such a huge mistake on Liga. Erased had the double Sonic Wave, but didn't use a single Sonic Wave on the Beastmaster when they had the Pulverize. It goes through BKBs, for goodness sake.
I think
Just
the problem
throw
is it would have
everything
pushed
down
him.
there.
It would have pushed him over the cliff. Bloodthorn used to release 5 backwards as Fernand's, but Erase could be caught out. Is there Disable? Ready? No, there isn't. So BKB, Erase, get out of there. No! Erase, get in there! Sonic Wave now used. Juwai's running out of mana. He doesn't care! There is no Phantom Lancer. And very soon there's going to be no Radiant Ancient.
Really seems like they are unable to actually... It's not even the Medusa. They're unable to take Urias down. They're unable to do anything about Norma, who comes in with the Rolling Thunder. Unable to do anything against the Naga Siren. Really seems like the Medusa, who is a late game insurance... Turns out it's actually the Beastmaster and the Bangalore who are bringing in that insurance policy.
And the Naga. Basically everyone.
Hey, it's
incredible
Fernand's and Flacco,
performance
right?
from TNL, you have to say.
Yeah.
For the Fernand's and Flacco effect is crazy.
Honestly, it's very thick plot armor.
UI, look at him go. Witch Doctor would be proud.
Radiant's middle
Barracks on the ground.
Radiant's middle
Buyback is now here for the Phantom Lancer, but what is Violent buying back into? It's buying back into a full mana Medusa who's already had the Pulverize used on, and nothing matters. Naga Siren, Song of the Siren will not be usable. The Heroes goes into the back lines. They're trading a Naga for the Primal Beast, and Violent still hasn't used his buyback. This is critical time being missed. Buyback comes out from dual raise, rather from Naga. Flacco will not be able to make his way back over too easily, but in the meanwhile, the race's stun is locked into the back lines. He has been eliminated. Buying back as he tries to fight back. This is the last hurrah, but as Juwai will continue to be able to keep his mana relatively healthy, he simply cannot be eliminated. Phantom Lancer, counter this!
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
Perfect play coming out from TNL. Even when it looked impossible, they were able to keep their calm, and you saw the cracks beginning to occur for Liga team when the Beastmaster, when Jewelrays was able to find the very first roar on the PL over on the bot lane. He was able to take the PL down, and then the lack of itemization, or rather the lack of correct itemization coming in for the Phantom Lancer, going for that Bloodthorn, doesn't have a way to pierce the evasion, doesn't have a way to actually run over anyone and slow them down with the Eye of Scotty. It just seemed like TNL, all they had to do was buy time with the song, and they would have been able to win.
I mean, we make it sound like that was an inevitability, but for the large majority of this game, TNL were losing, TNL were going to lose. We said this multiple times. We don't know how they come back. They show us. There's a reason why these guys are the players and we're not. It's fantastic roars all across the map. It's Ray's having a few too many deaths at power runes that we did highlight. That means that he can't snowball and be a threat in the late game the same way. Corrupted does a great job of staying relevant, but relevance is eventually always going to be lost if you're a Primal Beast offline. That's just how the cookie crumbles. And frankly, you didn't see the same happen for Norma and Dual Rays. Great performances from them, but again, hats off to Flacco. What a Naga siren that he just showcases over there as well. At the end of the day, it definitely could have been played better by Liga. They were very far ahead, and they probably should have been able to close out at a few of these places. But with a Medusa late game and the crazy effective execution of TNL, you can never count them out. Game number 2, though, is going to be coming up after a break. Can TNL continue this tier to be emerging victorious again, or is it going to be Liga fighting back? Let's find out. Welcome back. It's going to be game number 2 between TNL and Liga team as we head further into the upper bracket this time. We are potentially one game away of finding out who the grand finalist, the first grand finalist for the CCT Season 2 Series number 4 is going to be for European Edition. I'm T-Time Ultras, and we are continuing on with the action after Liga team kind of just got their bums handed to them after being ahead for most of game number 1.
Yeah, it's not really all that often that you have a direct carry counter and you are unable to capitalize on it. Liga just straight up outplayed them after the mid game, right? Dual Race kept his cool, found the win condition, and disabled the Phantom Lancer from being able to do anything, and they were able to protect the Medusa at the back of those Naga Siren plays, and I wouldn't be surprised, TNL ban out that Naga. Let's see.
Dazzle first ban coming out from Liga.
I mean, Dazzle is now played on the position 3 role. Is actually quite the contested pick. I'm actually a bit surprised that Dazzle hasn't been picked all that often in CCT, because I do see that Dazzle. I remember over in South America, I was seeing the Dazzle being picked left, right, and center with teams that have, I would say, are nearly as good enough as TNL and Liga, but obviously the European scene is, I would say, a league above the rest of the regions in the world.
A league above. Good job, Dallas. Good fun. Good fun. Earthshaker coming through over here as the first pick. Of course, that's also a bit of a flex potential over here. 3 different places where it can be played. I'm really hoping for a mid Earthshaker. I'll be honest, I think it's one of my favorite heroes to watch out for, and it does feel like it's always one of those heroes that has more impact than you think it will. It's mostly seen as like a 10th pick, just decided to try and turn things around, but I do think it's undervalued as a core in general.
I'm not sure about under or overvalued. I will say that using the Earthshaker as a first pick is a bit of an interesting decision. Perhaps Liga are going for the route of illusion-based or mass illusion-based heroes, like maybe the Terrorblade or the Phantom Lancer themselves, because the Earthshaker is very unlikely to be banned, just for that simple reason. But TNL, they will go for the Doom, and it is a hero that they have played before. I believe we saw them play the Doom quite often back when these 3 players were still with Passion UA.
Yeah, let's see what the follow-up is going to be over here. It's obviously one of those picks that can do pretty much whatever you need. Also very, very good against an Earthshaker course. If you want to be just trying to be more of a dissuasive property, that's always nice to have in that regards as well. I would love to see TNL maybe going into a Beastmaster again if it's not banned out in this phase. To be frank, I think that was amazing performance from Dual Rays, and the fact that he shows us that in the mid lane also just reminds us of the flex potential. So it's still a pretty flexible hero in terms of where you want to put it, and it doesn't take away Doom's potential of still being a position 3 theoretically.
And did ban out the Disruptor, and TNL will actually ban out the Naga too. They will have the pick here, so maybe they go for a Storm on their side, because you have the Disruptor banned out on the other side. It's a lot easier now to play the Storm against the Silencer, because you no longer have the reverberating silence
It was
passive
so annoying,
available.
oh my god.
It really was. Especially for people who don't like making the
picking
BKB.
Storm into a first pick Earthshaker with a Shadow Shaman, a Lion, a Bugna still available. I don't think you can go for a Storm over here. Bugna now being picked up by TNL, understandable. I like the pick. It's also very good versus a core Earthshaker. That's going to be something that is threatened. You try and jump around while your mana is being burnt, it becomes painful very quickly.
Although you only need one good enchant totem on top of the Pugna to take him down, right? So
That's true.
it will depend on whether or not you go for the Scepter, right? That's the big difference, because now Earthshaker cores don't actually go for the Scepters anymore. You go for the Kaya and the Blink. Not really having the Scepter up means you take a hit on your maneuverability, but Liga will amp up their maneuverability.
Can't believe I didn't even think about that.
A Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, it didn't even come to my mind. Legan picking up the Nature's Prophet is obviously... Look, against a Doom, I've always felt like the Nature's Prophet is still going to be able to do anything and everything it needs, but if it comes to a straight-up team fight, you might end up losing more than you're gaining within the Nature's Prophet, because Doom continues to be able to farm up really well, and with the Pugna on its side, you don't really suffer the normal problems with Doom being bad at pushing towers. Pugna can also keep taking away some of those tier 1s. This is not a perfect Nature's Prophet game yet, especially with Storm Spirit still being in the pool. And if TNL pick up the Storm, well, I mean, that's going to be potentially very strong now.
Liga are coming up with a lot of flex here, right? Because both of these heroes can go into whatever lane, so TNL won't have that one. And they're also picking up high-value Doom targets. The more Doom targets you have, the weaker the Doom is going to be, because then you're in a state of confusion, right?
Alternatively, the stronger it is, because you're always going to get it off onto someone important. It depends on whether you're ahead or not is the issue, right? If you're ahead with a Doom and you have multiple Doom targets, suddenly it's just like, well, I don't care. I'm going to win a team fight regardless because we're already ahead on the rest of the team.
I wonder if TNL will go for a Silencer or an Abaddon at the back of this Bane pickup from the other side. Abaddon does feel like he is a bit weak, particularly against a Nature's Prophet as a core. So I wouldn't be too surprised if TNL go for the Silencer over the Abba here. But
can we have a Mirana coming out from Liga?
No.
Please?
These
You've got
duos.
a Sprout, you've got a Fissure, you've got a Nightmare.
I think the support duo combos with the Mirana are a thing of the past.
What do you mean? It was only 2013 when Sigma International had, Seb and Fata playing those together.
It was 10 years ago, tea time. We're older now. 12, 13. Wait.
Soon to be 13. It was 2013. Yeah. This was before MLG Columbus, the one that RTZ stood in for KP on and had his big debut. God, good times, man. Good times.
We've come a long way since then.
And unfortunately, the Mirana hasn't.
Yeah. The Mirana had you didn't
It
have...
had 2 patches where it was very good, where the leap was quite strong. But the question is, what does TNL pick up over here? It's the Pangalia coming through, so not too surprising. Obviously, still some of that flex potential. Norma was very, very good on the Pango in the last game. A lot of opportunities given up by Erase. I would be surprised if Erase gives up many of the same. It also means that if it's going to be a mid Earthshaker, you can just put the Pango down in that mid lane, and he does pretty well versus the ES as well, so yeah. I
think you really do need a Silencer, right? Because the more heroes like the Pango you pick up, the Bane Fiend script, it just counters you out. And you have excellent follow-up with the Nature's Wrath, with the Global Teleportation, alongside the Earthshaker who can go in with the Echo Slam, or even the Enchant Totem, right? So TNL need that bit of need that buffer to keep their Pango alive, or to keep the Fiend script target alive, because you can even use the Fiend script on the Doom here. Against this much follow-up, not going for the Silencer would be risky. Okay, so they go with the silence. I was going to ask, is it not possible that the Pogna live train is just enough to keep the person with the Fiend script on them alive? But there's also very long range Fissure to be able to cancel it as well. And there's about to be Mirana picked up, obviously, like we discussed. So, there's always going to be that extra possibility. I don't think it's going to be a Mirana, but I wouldn't actually... a Terrorblade wouldn't be that bad here for Liga team, if I'm being honest. Or maybe you just go for the straight up Ursa Warrior. Right, if this Nature's Prophet isn't
I'd quite like a Life Sealer, to be honest, not even the Ursa.
Problem is the Life Sealer against the Doom is very weak, because you don't life steal, you don't heal at all.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So
that is true. They go for something a little bit more cookie cutter, but it does guarantee that this Nature's Prophet is going to be either on position 4, 5, or 2. So there's really not that many guarantees when you think about it. It does mean that only one between the Nature's Prophet and the Earthshaker is going to be a core, right? Because neither of those heroes are going to be going on the offlane. You could have a offlane Earthshaker in a position 2 Nature's Prophet. You can, but the offlane Earthshaker just feels really weak against the Doom. Right? The Scorched Earth, the Infernal Blade, the Earthshaker will just get run down. And considering the fact you have a Silencer on the other side, that Arcane Curse does very well against spammable abilities, right? Honestly, I would kind of like an Undying over here to be picked up by Liga. Yeah, I mean... Put the Nature's Prophet on middle or the Templar Assassin on middle. Have the Undying be the major thing that you're fighting around. You've already got yourself some pretty spammable abilities in the Bane and the Earthshaker. Also, not to mention, if you have to deal with the Tombstone and the Fiend Script at the same time, just dividing attentions is important. Tombstone being down versus Silencer. I wouldn't hate an Undying position 4 or even a position 3. I can see it. I would like the Undying if it is picked up to be the position 3 rather than the position 4.
but having to deal with the Tombstone is certainly something that TNL's draft is weak against. At the same time, you had to decrepify, so the zombies won't be able to hit you, but that's not really...
That's not what the zombies are doing anyway, right?
Yeah, that's nothing, not really noteworthy, so to say. But TNL right now, they have to go for a ban, and the way that they are thinking is that this is going to be a Nature's Prophet as a support, and it's going to be an offlane Earthshaker. So that's what they're thinking. Or that the Templar Assassin is a mid.
Yeah,
it's a lot of things that they're thinking.
There's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of considerations. Liga's still quite wary with revealing their cards. They do have until the last pick to be able to make a decision. Now, they don't have the last pick, right? The last pick will be going the way of TNL, so at least TNL has some flexibility in that regards. But right now, as far as the banning is concerned, I wouldn't, to be frank, I know there's a Doom and a Silencer, but I would be a little bit concerned about something on the lines of just like a Void Spirit or something as well, if you are right about it being a middle hero. But they're more concerned about the offlane, Lycan being banned out, taken away, understandably so.
I think TNL will go for a Beastmaster. I think with a Beastmaster and a Doom and a Pangolier, you're going to be doing really well in those team fights, just able to keep the Templar Assassin knocked down, and you have enough follow-up to come in to just take out the Templar Assassin, right? Not to mention, you can cancel out the Fiend's Grip with just the Hawk, but no, they are going to...
reversal.
Yeah, it's a complete reversal. They themselves will be picking up the Beastmaster, and most likely it's going to be a mid Beastmaster, considering the fact that the opposite side ran it on dual raise.
No, it's not a mid Beastmaster.
Probably off. Okay, probably not, but I mean... The mid Beastmaster just seems to do so well against the Pangolier. Right? The Pangolier.
Okay. It raises mid on the Earthshaker. BB3 is playing the position 5 Nature's Prophet. Violence on the TA. Dual Raise is going to be able to go mid versus the Earthshaker using his Timber Saw. The TNL's draft is really good in the lanes right now, man.
Yeah, this Timber Saw pick is
difficult.
Really good. Oh, all things considered. I mean, even just a Doom, right? Just a Doom seems to be going to have the time of his life. Norma on the Pangolier. I would favor TNL's draft here, but again, it does come down to what the Beastmaster will be able to do on the other side, right? Because we saw what the potency of just being able to lock down that high-value target can come down to, and if TNL, or rather if Liga, are able to enable their Templar Assassin, the meld strikes that are going to be coming out, if they're somehow able to keep their TA alive in those fights, that Fiend's Grip, you don't need a full duration Fiend's Grip if the Templar Assassin is farmed up. You just need a second or two to be able to burst down any of the heroes over on the other side. So it's going to be a question of survival for both of these teams, and the good thing is, though, is that even if you don't end up surviving, you will be dropping down to the lower brackets instead of the graveyard that we have come across from the lower brackets.
Not to mention that with the Fiend's Grip, you don't even need to start off a fight with it, right? You've got a lot of good initiation with the Roar and the Earthshaker to be able to come through. They're both going to have Blink Daggers relatively early if they want to try and go for something like it. Of course, Beastmaster might be going for the help of the Overlord. I would prefer a Blink Dagger. I think playing around the Templar Assassin is very, very important, but the Overlord helm does also give you a lot of space to be able to continue split pushing around the map and give her space in other ways. So it's just a stylistic preference about what you want to go for.
I think the Helm of the Overlord is better because you have squishy supports on the other side, the Pugna and the Silencer, right? And you would always want to put the Pugna in a place to use, for him to force the Decrepify. Make him use the Decrepify in a less than ideal scenario so that then you open up the source or open up the space to dish out physical damage on the target that you want to. So that could be one way Liga choose to play. However, they also do have the Nature's Prophet, so a lot of it will also come down to those teleportations because the Nature's Prophet isn't on the mid lane or on the carry role. He is free to rotate. Let's see where he rotates though.
That was interesting.
Тихонечко себя ведем.
I wonder if one of these is the new voice line for Team Liquid.
Well, you would know if you were a true Team Liquid fan, or if you were quickly opening up the Dota menu to check it like I am.
I am not a Team Liquid fan. And so much so that I will not be opening up the client to check.
30 seconds to battle.
It's 5 heroes bottom. This was really disappointing, and that was interesting. That's the Team Liquid lines from right now.
Okay, okay.
Look,
The reason I'm not a Team Liquid fan is because I like to
You're-
root for the team that didn't win TI. You know.
Okay.
I like there to be
the
spice.
team
in the
spirit.
scene. Nah.
Maybe we can get some spice out of here. Norma who doesn't really want to close out the distance completely. It is very impressive the win streak the Team Spirit is on. By the way, I don't know if you saw the post on Reddit or not, but I think they're on a 19 map win streak. That is crazy.
If they're able to win the first best of, if they're able to win every single match or series in Fisher, as well as the first match of the international, then they will actually beat
Okay.
Alliance's record.
Man, what a team, Alliance. Mid lane, we've already talked about how Erase will not be having the best of times. In the bot lane, I think this is where Corrupted and Hellscream hope to find some action. Hellscream and the Zeus in the last game was very, very impressive until he wasn't. And right now he's hoping he doesn't get to that stage of until he wasn't too quickly.
Hellscream is what's a character back in?
Grom Hellscream was the Axe model from Warcraft 3, yes.
There we go. I didn't recognize it. A lot of these players, a lot of the references that they bring about has been from that one particular game, but it's
BB3?
actually BB3 to fall.
Fernandes, what a man. What a man.
Yeah, just graving the other hero down. It's not really a kill that I expected to come out here, but hey, they'll take it and they will apply pressure on Violent.
Why? Slow down, has to be careful. He could be turned around upon. He doesn't recognize the damage. Why will fall, but not before he gets a kill of his own. Flacco was trying to make the difference and make this a 2-for-1. That won't happen though, not with 7 magic wand charges available for the Beastmaster.
The 360 no-scope strike coming about from the Doom. Literally, he turned around just to be able to get that one swipe down, mitigating the loss of his life there. So that's so far so good for TNL. But Liga need to be careful not to give too many of these kills away. If they want to make a move on the Doom, then they need to do so cleanly. Because remember, the Doom is one of the fastest farmers in the game, particularly when he has that Hand of Midas up. BB3 really isn't going to have a good time in this lane. Fernandes is just going to keep him at bay.
Yeah, and the problem is the heal really doesn't help when you're going to have to trigger the Arcane Curse to be on for longer. You just have to let the damage take its course. There also aren't any lanes to gank outside of the bottom lane, so Nature's Prophet won't have any of that, easy recovery farm that a position 5 can generally have just by being able to TP away either.
Yeah, it's also very difficult to leave your Templar Assassin alone, right? Every time you do so, that's going to give TNL the green light to go in on him, and it's all risky decisions, no matter which way you go about it. Even on the mid lane, very difficult to get Timbersaw down, because if you come in with the Sprout, you're actually amplifying the Timber's damage.
Didn't even think about that actually. Oh, that's so annoying.
Because you have an Earthshaker that wants to be sticking up close and personal, right? He's going to be chasing that Timber just to be in range for that enchant totem. So if you use a Sprout, then you'll just receive pure damage. And it's really not going to be a good look.
Timber's also taking like no damage from this Earthshaker either. The 12 reactive armor is... you can't kill this Timber. He is not going to die. Even with the rotation from the Bane, unless there's a massive overstep, I don't see how you kill Timber.
Erase will be fine to stack up on lost hits though, at the very least. So he should be able to get an item that he wants for himself. I'm just not too sure how effective it's going to be against that global silence, as well as the Doom. And how will he'll actually be able to get his Echo Slams off, right? That's also a big consideration, because you have 2 ranged heroes over on the other side. You have a pseudo Spider-Man in the form of the Timber.
Bottom lane. I said the only kills that we'd get are going to be over here, and they are finding them. UI is a vulnerable target for the first few minutes of the game, and listen, if Liga can try and keep this Doom down and low, then you have a way you get the TA to reach critical mass, potentially.
What does it change?
Let's see if they can keep the Doom down, though, because similar to the Nature's Prophet, he has an incredible ability to recover, even if he is down. But it's a good start, definitely, for Liga. And they're setting up nicely for that eventual roar to come about.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Violent. He's the player that you're going to be keeping an eye out on consistently throughout the game, but right now he's not doing too much. It's a guaranteed death to come through for BB3, and with a swashbuckler forward, Norma will be able to secure it. Violent doing what he can to keep Norma low, but plenty of tangos to be pulled, and with the Urn now picking up some charges as well, Norma is soon going to be put at risk himself. The Urn can really make a difference.
Particularly against the Refraction 2, right? Just burn away the Refraction charges, and then you'll have a way in to take the Templar Assassin down. That is the big key. That is the big kill they are looking for. Right now, they are trying their best to shut down the Nature's Prophet, but pretty soon they are going to turn their attention towards the TA. And whether or not Liga can keep the TA alive is going to determine whether or not they transition, or they will definitely transition, but how well they transition into
Radiant's
the
bottom
mid-game.
tower is under
There's
The
six
battle
minute
for the
power
Power
rune,
Runes is going to be populated by Fernandes. Fernandes trying to go in onto Erase, keep him away with the Arcane Curse, and in fact, a lot of damage will be found. It's a TP forced out for Erase. He'll barely live if he'd waited even a while longer.
Fernandes
been his
will
death.
lose the rune though, but
He
oh man,
doesn't
it's
care.
only Fernandes or Flacco that can force out the opposing mid laner TP out. I'm gonna
And
say
he's
that.
still going forward even further. He has to be careful. Hellscream is
Dire's
nearby.
structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nightmare back. Well, the Sprout doesn't do anything.
Not Fernandes.
Nightmare, of course, popping all trees in the vicinity.
The Beastmaster?
He'll be looking for a fight. UI does have a lot of regeneration with the Scorcher, then it'll be there for a while longer. Magic Wand available for the Doom as well, so with a quick Quelling Blade back, although BB3 is going to continue chasing him down, it is a Lotus to keep him alive. So,
Ooh, but
can it
Vayne.
continue to be the case? No. Hellscream will push him back into BB3. The Decrep will buy a little bit more time again. UI pulls off the 360 no-scope one more time, but unfortunately, no kills to come through from him. He doesn't quite have the sniper that he needs.
Liga really baited him into that one. I mean, just corrupted, luring the Doom in. I don't think he respected the teleportation.
I don't think they're respecting Norma's damage either over here, though, because this should be a dead TA. Nicely juked from Violence, stays out of the way from the Rolling Thunder, but I would like to quickly point out, we are going to have a 8.5 minute, maybe 9 minute level 6 on Flacco if he continues to take experience.
The live train will keep UI alive, but I'm more interested in that Doom. Right, once that Doom is online, then UI can play aggressive and finally recover after this horrendous laning phase. However, at the same time, T-Time, you take a look at the net worth for all three of these scores, and they are ahead of Liga.
Ooh, Hellscream will be able to pick up the Haste Rune. Is there anything to be done with it? Erase is trying to close the distance, will not be able to get into Echo Slam territory. Fernandes now with a quick silence attempt will be keeping, it's a very honest Earthshaker, and Earthshaker might be dying a poor man's death. Look at the damage that comes through. Thank you very much, Whirling Death.
Flacco to pick up the kill, but TNL, what they're trying to do is take this tier 1 tower down, because that will open up the space towards the jungle from the mid side, and UI...
Kidding.
He
UI
actually...
just comes in with a Doom onto the Templar Assassin. She's dead. They're going to get the mid tier 1 as well on top of it. Tulkus, this is just disaster.
Dire's top
luring
tower
Liga into a false sense of security. T-Time, that's what TNL are doing. They thought that UI wouldn't dare to make a move like that, but there's the first Doom used in great fashion, and TNL able to take down a tower as well. They are doing so well for themselves. A 3,000 net worth advantage 9 minutes in.
is under attack.
Bangles got his Spirit Vessel because he didn't go for the boots. Bottom lane, Corrupted is the only person who feels like he's getting anything done, and even he might not be able to stay alive with the way things are going.
Screen finds a nightmare, so they will make sure Dual Rays can't double down on this TP, but they will be able to keep their tower alive, which is what TNL want. Keep your towers alive, take the opposing side's tier 1 towers at the back of the Nether Blast, keep your Doom on continuing to farm,
Dire's top tower
and you will
is
be
under
good.
attack.
Right now, the Templar Assassin Violent isn't farming as fast as he needs. He should have had a Dragon Lance by now.
Corrupted. Devil Chakram's going out. Corrupted is going to be a dead man. He knows it as well. He might as well turn around and see what he can find. Unfortunately, what he can find is the suck. Pugna getting the quick life drain out and will take him away. It is a shield rune from Erase that will guarantee his life in the meanwhile.
I don't see what they can do with the power rune, because you need the Blink Dagger from this Earthshaker. He's very close. He will have it at about 13 minutes if things continue. If he continues farming up at this pace, maybe even earlier. But even when you have the Blink, there's no
You don't have that much follow-up.
Yeah, and even if you had the follow-up, Fernandes will actually hit his global silence timing very early on. They're giving him the space to do that. Flacco already
And they get a
has
kill.
level 6.
They do have a Fiend Script ready and waiting. Won't be needed. They've got the Roar instead. So, should be a tier 1 tower transition. There's no one over here to be able to defend it. And with the Earthshaker not being too far off, this is going to be
Radiant's
a nice little bit of extra gold for them.
Might end up being a trade if they don't go for the defense. You have a catapult on the other side of the map. So Liga's tier 1 tower towards the top side is going to take a bit of damage. They're actually going to bring their Templar Assassin in as well as the Bane. And maybe UI gets lured in, tempted to take a kill on the TA.
He's going to recognize that the twin gates have likely been used though, so he will stay back. The only one tempted is Flacco, tempted to go up for a little bit more damage out of the towers, and without the whoa, long range nightmare.
Oh, they won't dare to use the Fiend Script right now. Not while the global silence is up, right? He finally has that level 6. So I think that Liga are just going to abandon this tier 1 tower. The defense would be too costly.
I mean, you can't defend it. Just another Nether Blast and it's gone anyway.
Radiant are scanning.
Quick life drain out as well. They're trying to ping it out. They need to get this initiation. Blink Dagger ready. Goes in with the Echo Slam. You've got yourself the stun. The Doom onto the Bane will stop the Fiend Script from being a factor. It should be a death confirmed. A global silence that might have just been wasted. Your Y has got no way of getting out of it. He can't use the TP. And that global being gone means League has got another 2 minutes. When that Bane feels a bit more powerful, a little bit of damage mitigated, as normal will be able to get 1 kill, but he should be falling here. Dodges out on 1 stun. Second stun keeps dual rays away. That Timber Chain will not be connecting. This fight is going terribly for TNL. Oh, longest range war that you could have gotten, and it's Norma who's been caught out by it. Rooted up, but the life drain is what's healing him in the meanwhile. Suddenly this team fight's becoming a whole lot more chaotic. Norma stays alive for so much longer. Corrupted will fall. Norma will be the trade, but BB3 is a little cherry on top. Violent is the real cake, and he's being chomped and stomped down.
Who knew you could have your cake and eat it as well? TNL just lured a Liga team in. Despite the fact that they didn't have the Doom or the Global Silence, they were able to fight back because Liga didn't have their Echo Slam or the Fiend's Grip either. So when the Roar came out on top of a Pangolier who no longer had a Rolling Thunder, and the Pugna was in place with the Decrepify and the full duration life drain, it made it an impossible circumstance for Liga to actually fight back against the Timbersaw.
They're now
And
hunting
Dual
for
Rays-
that Timbersaw.
It's going to be a bit of a monster. I'm not sure they can get the skill.
There aren't going to be responses ready and waiting. There isn't going to be a global silence, but there also isn't going to be any ability to chase. The Blink Dagger has already been used by the Shaker. Norma has found BB3 in the back line. So Liga, not only will they waste a lot of time, they will also lose a man. It's
It's not clean from Liga. these team fights, these initiations, these smoke plays. I mean, Norma is doing so well, Jewelrace is doing so well, and the Doom already has the Radiance. So, TNL are going to be monsters in the mid game. Monsters that perhaps are going to turn into Liga's worst nightmare.
Dire are scanning. Radiant are scanning.
I mean, you just have to wonder, what is the pathway to redemption going to be? I know you said, Ultras, that you prefer the Helm of the Overlord, you prefer the more of the Aura build for Corrupted. Do you still think that, or do you think this should be a Blink Dagger?
I mean, I think he's too far in for the Helm of the Overlord to change things up.
Well, for now, Violent is too far into enemy territory. He's going to be gone. And Hellscream's not feeling too much better. Maybe Erase can find some space for his support to back up, but he's already lost the main target. That Echo Slam is going to be completely useless. Blink Dagger doesn't go off in time. The Global Silence comes through just in case, and the two-man Aftershock will do nothing. Liga are falling apart.
Sunk cost fallacy. You lost your Templar Assassin and you still wanted to take a fight, despite the fact that you knew that Global Silence was online, you knew the Doom was available.
Is under attack.
What were Liga hoping to achieve there? Let's say they got their Echo Slam off. How many kills would they have been able to get? Maybe the supports, but the Timbersaw and the Doom are too tanky.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You're right though, if they can get this skill, it would be pretty worth it.
Sun comes out, UI. Goner. Thank you very much. Doom gets pulled off. I don't know if that's entirely worth it, but maybe it is. I'm wrong. Look at the responses. Look at the teleportation. Dual raise double. Why not?
I think I was unclear about my instructions this time around. If they got the Doom kill without losing their own heroes, it would have been
see,
worth
this
it.
is your fault. This is your fault. I'm blaming you for this one. You have to be better about this, Ultras.
Oh, man,
How are we going to get you to be a TI winning coach this way?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Things are rough
Yeah.
for Liga. When you take a look at the chances of a comeback, right, it hinges on the Templar Assassin being farmed up. But he's going to have a very late Desolator. It's going to come at about the 18-minute mark, which is several minutes from when he should have gotten it. And even when he has a Desolator, right, you have a Decrepify on the other side. The perfect ability to counter a hero like the Templar Assassin. So then you need a Nullifier. Who can build a Nullifier? Only two heroes exist for Liga that can do that. The Beastmaster as well as the Templar Assassin, but there's no way in hell the Templar Assassin is going to be going for a Nullifier as a third or fourth item. You need a BKB, you need to be able to dish out damage, so you make a Daedalus 2.
Erase is dead. Feeling like there's no way he's going to be able to go in and stay alive this way. Norma with the smoke up on him. Fernand's not too far off either. They really want to go for a fight. They know what's going on over here. Erase will be caught out. He's used himself the Echo Slam, doing whatever he can, but the magic damage is too much. No Doom even necessary. And with the Echo Slam on cooldown for 2 minutes, I mean, the map is TNL's.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. Liga do still possess some semblance of map control. Their Templar Assassin is continuing to farm. I believe up until the 26 to 27 minute mark, you'll still have a TA that has that space to farm up, but it's going to quickly change if you are confined to your high ground. You need your BKB by the time TNL come high ground.
The other good thing is you don't really have a very good Roche lineup for TNL. Right, so you're not going to have them prioritize Roshan until it's time to push the high ground.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Liga do have a good Roche lineup, right? They have the Desolator.
They also have a good kill to start things off, but a Flacco. Global Silence, though, means that you can't really follow up. Hellscream is gone. BBC being chased down. Corrupted doesn't have his roar, so he doesn't have anything to offer. He knows it as well. It has to be teleportations across the lot, and they will mitigate losses. Just to position 5 going down.
Support for a sport works out in favor of Liga because TNL have the higher net worth, but it's not going to be by much. And it's not a useless support as well, right? I mean, it's not a useless support, but when the fight's already over, losing your Pugna isn't really all that relevant because he's already done his job.
Another initiation is going to be coming forward still. No Echo Slam. Remember, it was used earlier on. In goes Norma. He dodges out the potential fissures. Everyone has avoided the stuns. The Nightmare will stop the Timber from being stunned either. At least they've got the aftershocks near the fissure. But the problem is TA, who wants to fight with the Desolator, is not going to be given any targets.
You have to be wary about the Doom.
Echo Slam is back over here as well. There's 2 big ultimates to be worried about. Neither one of them in position to be used right now. BB3 goes into the middle of it all. He really wants to just find some gaps, find some space. Blink in. Echo Slam onto 2. Doom still not used. Your White closing the distance. Doom goes down to the PA. And with the Earthshaker in the back lines being a victim of the Rolling Thunder, Norma gives a reminder of what he's capable of.
Liga once again. What is the objective there? What is the goal there? Because you got your Echo Slam off, and you found yourself with 2 supports. But you have no response against the Doom. As soon as that Doom comes out on your Templar Assassin, it's all over. He can't fight. He doesn't have to be KB.
Unfortunately, TA just couldn't finish off your Y over there. She didn't feel comfortable focusing him down. So despite the really nice double Echo Slam, don't get me wrong, it just wasn't the follow-up.
And now you have Flacco with the forced off as well. Additional bits of survivability built in. He has the health ring to play with. The essence ring. They will be able to take down Roshan, as I don't believe TNL will be able to come out with a response. There's no Rolling Thunder up. So perhaps you don't fight into this one. As I say that though, Norma is coming in. So perhaps TNL want to go in.
TV3 trying to keep them away. Aegis picked up by Violent, but inside the pit, that's where Norma does his best work. He is not going to be pushed out of it. Violent will be gone. It is no chance of survival over here for this TA. A Chakram on the ground will stop the blink if there even was one, but Violent now just has to fight some more. Dual raids. The damage is unbelievable, and he still stays alive. Ethereal courtesy of the Pugna Decrepify. Corrupted trying to go back in with an Essence Ring of his own, but Norma's now on the low ground. He's all over the shop because he owns the damage shop. Why? Where are you fighting? Back in the triangle. Found a race. Thank you very much. It might be more around the corner for you. Why not take a +1? This little party of yours.
TNL are feeling so confident this game. They are even going to go for a Roche fight after Roshan has fallen. And Liga, you can really tell that they have limited options at their disposal when all they can do is try to disengage. And the timing for that BKB T-time, it's running out because you're giving too much away to the other side. So much so that even when the BKB comes out, maybe the Templar Assassin still can't fight. You'll have a Harpoon on the other side. No, actually, Yubai is going for the Manta style rather than the Harpoon. Wants to be able to break off the Nightmare on his own. Erase now has the Gaia, but Violent, he's going to be going for the Blink Dagger up next. Really not sure about that one, even though it is perhaps the most typical build for the Templar Assassin. Really just feels like not initiating on TNL is the best initiation for Liga.
It does give her some survivability in the sense of getting away. At the very least, right, the mobility is quite necessary. You saw that in that last fight as well. I just don't think a BKB does anything for him. I think you have to stay back and hope that you can choose not to fight. Or
Because-
choose to take your fights according to yourself. Right now, Erase would not mind going in, but he doesn't know who all is behind that Doom. Smoke being used. Can they find a target off the back of it?
No, I think they're just going to all go outside of the outpost.
Twin gates. Oh no. Dual Rays is running in past them. They are waiting. They might not be liking what's coming in for them. Dual Rays will be able to tank most of the initial damage and disable, so he'll find Corrupted. Corrupted knows he's dead. The question is, do the rest of his team recognize it? Corrupted is still fighting back, but the fight is going on elsewhere. Why is trying to find Hellscream. If he gets his ultimate off, that would be big, but an Echo Slam to stop the global silence to counter. That's always the problem. Decrep is now there, chasing down the Templar Assassin. Violent has escaped. It does feel like Liga might be able to count their losses in the single digits. At least that's what you'd hope. Blink backward. Violent stays alive.
You want to be going back in?
This would be
Radiant's
insanity.
middle tower is under attack.
They will disengage finally, but again, you can tell how scared they are. And the global silence is just as strong. I really don't know how Liga did not see that one coming. That one silencer pick.
They just didn't have a choice. You can't pick it for yourself. You can't ban it all out. It's so difficult.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Violent is farmed.
Dire's
Oh,
top tower is under
Dual Graze wants to be going in.
And team next level, they will wholeheartedly support him.
There's just no way to take this Timber down. I mean, he has a son in Kaya. Making his way towards the Shiva's guard. He
Violent
saw
was even
Violent.
rooted up by the Ancients. He could have gone down, but fortunately he had enough refraction charges to be able to blink away.
Dire's
Desperate
middle
disengagements
tower
is the name of the game for the Liga team right now. And coming back to the point, Violent has about 1800 gold in his pocket. And Titan, I know you said that
Radiant's top tower
the
is under
BKB
attack.
won't change much. I agree. I just don't think there's any other option for Liga.
Radiant are scanning.
I think the BKB is a good pickup now. I just think that the blink was probably going to keep him alive more than the BKB before, and we've already seen it save his life twice.
Unfortunately, though, Titan, the Blink Dagger, when you're using it to save your life in these kind of desperate disengagements, that's not the perfect use of the Blink. You want the Blink to initiate on the other side. You want the
Is there a
Blink.
perfect use right now?
No.
Time isn't great for BB3 as he'll fall elsewhere. Hellscream will fall. This is called a bifurcated map bonanza. Support kills on opposite ends of the map.
I like that word. I will be using that word from this point
Anytime.
on.
Dire's top tower is under
Erase is hoping that he can find something to like about this game as well. It will be the roar onto the Timber, so he doesn't have reactive armor. They really just need to tear him apart. But the pipe with a Lotus Orb, with his Aghanim's, you don't have a choice but to back off. And even that's not the real choice.
Dire's
Dual Raise is 10, 0, and 7.
top tower has fallen.
There's no way you take this Timber down. I don't know why Liga are even trying to take Timber down. If they want pickoffs, there are options because you can take the Doom down. You can take the Pangolier down because Violent does have a Desolator. But he's gone for the Hurricane Pike. Like you mentioned, he just wants the maneuverability to survive rather than the magic immunity.
Well,
Dire's top
Keep it out.
I don't know,
while he
man.
could.
There's nothing you can do as a support. That's for sure. That's all I know.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, not if you're Flacco Fernandez. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
If you're fair enough, Fernandez.
I meant it's Liga, but yeah.
You can get a Fiend's Grip off.
Dire's
Just not sure you can keep the Fiend's Grip on. Because there's no burst potential coming out from Liga, right? It's
There's too many kills around the map for us to even follow, it feels like.
like Erase can't come in with that high damage burst. His Enchant Totem, despite of it being level 4, does about 600 damage, but where is the rest of the damage going to come from? The Timber has 3000 HP, the Doom has 3000 HP, and the Pangolier has about 2000, but has 28 armor.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. At 63% physical damage resistance. And right now, Dual Rays has 100% death resistance, it feels like. With a lineup that isn't suited for taking high ground will be breached before the 30-minute mark. This tier 3 tower has got no choice but to take a knee, and maybe before that a glyph will come through. I guess there's some small consolation, but that glyph is going to be over sooner rather than later.
I wonder if Liga even defend this or give this up entirely, because losing your team here could spell the end of the game.
I think the end of the game is already started to be spelled out. What I hear right now is L and B lower bracket for Liga. The way things are going, that's the only way they'll be able to come back in. With their ace being down 50 seconds while the Echo Slam, I wouldn't blame TNL from just going for another lane of racks as well.
No Echo Slam, no team fight. But as it turns out, even with the Echo Slam, Liga don't have that much of a team fight. And TNL, they will head on over to the second lane of racks. And Liga are going to have to put up a desperate defense if they want to stay in the upper brackets.
Desperate being the key word. Flacco initiated upon initially, but look at the Doom immediately comes back in. Templar Assassin's got no choice but to watch herself die, silent as can be. Liga needs to go the GG, they know it as well. BB3 will commit to it. Liga are down to the lower bracket. TNL continue to look absolutely unstoppable.
This was a very strong performance coming out by them. I mean, not only in this one, considering the performance they had in game number 1 as well, despite of a natural disadvantage as far as the carry lineups go, really seems like they have a plan. They have a plan for whatever contingency comes their way this time around, though. They were able to have a very convincing performance. And even when you take a look at the lower brackets, T-Time, OG are there. They had a phenomenal game today, but even a team like OG would struggle against a version of TNL that we see before us.
I mean, honestly, TNL right now definitely looking like the favorites to take the entire tournament. They will be going on towards the grand finals. Now, we will be having a couple of matches tomorrow for you guys. We're going to start things off with Yellow Submarine going up against OG. I believe that we should be able to have the rest of the tournament also start to be played out in that regards. But you know what? Schedule's going to be up on Gosu Gamers, who are, of course, our partners, so you guys can keep on following through over there. That's what I do to make sure I keep an eye out of the schedule. Who uses Excel anymore anyway, guys? But Team Next Level will be our first grand finalist. Fantastic stuff for Fernand and Flacco and company. This has been... I mean, we always talk about Fernand and Flacco. I really think this was a game where we got to see Dual Rays and Norma being properly showcased as MVP candidates.
Yeah, Jurez, I mean, let's not forget, he is a CCT champion back when he was playing with Dragon Esports Club, right? And then Norma is phenomenal in his own right. And I say this is a lineup that I as much as we like to say that Passion UA will be on the map for some of these other teams, I believe that these guys are also going to be on some of these radars.
Yeah, I mean, some fantastic talent coming out of Ukraine, that's for sure. But the question is, can they come out of this tournament victorious? We're still going to have to wait to see. There's more Dota 2 action coming our way tomorrow and on beyond. CCT will be continuing on for quite a while. We'll be on the sidelines, though, with the rest of you in the Kick chat. Make sure you're tuning back in for all the fantastic Dota to come. For now, this is T-Time, he's Teltras, and for this season, we're signing off.
First